is up, everybody? It's Seabass, Paul Effin Batters, and Mr. Gregory J. Hall tonight, and we are getting down talking about the Bassmaster Classic. Keith Poche taking it on Lake Cherokee, and some forward-facing sonar juice. So,
yeah,
I feel like the forward-facing sonar is this massive topic right now.
it is. We can talk about that. We'll get into that. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little more. Let's talk about tournament stuff. Keith Poche pulls out the win on Cherokee with no practice on that lake.
Yep.
Dedicated all of his practice to Douglas, like a couple of guys did, with the logic that if they can't make it through Douglas, they're not going to make it to Cherokee anyway. So, spent all of his practice on Douglas, looked at the map on Cherokee, and said, "If I make it to Cherokee, that's where I'm going," and ends up winning the tournament on that spot.
I think the wasn't one of the big captions that we saw was if you can get to untouched juice, more power to you.
So he had to go through rapids to get to the spillway that he was at. There, if you pull it up on Google Maps, there's essentially rocks that just run all the way across the river, and there's one chute. And from what I heard, he had to hit that chute full throttle. It was the only way that he could get through.
Yeah, because
So, like, if he wasn't on plane, he couldn't get through it.
I watched the whole thing. I don't watch MLF, but I watched it because of him, because I'm a fan. And he's sitting there. The funny part of it is Ott DeVoe is master on that lake, both of them. And had a camera on Ott, and he goes, "Well, there goes Keith Poche. He's going to one of my favorite spots. He's going to have 18, 19 pound today."
Yeah.
And he said he tried to get up there. He tried to get as far as he could on his glass boat, and
Yeah, he just
he
couldn't make it
He
through.
couldn't do it.
I guess
He-
once you
he
get to
tear his
those
boat up.
once you get to those rapids, you're probably like,
you're tear the bottom
Yeah,
of
if
the
you pull
boat.
those,
Yeah.
give me that mouse.
And Poche just said he
I got too much stuff.
knew where he's going, spillway, and he's going to live and die on the spillway. And that's where it was at.
I'm gonna pull this up.
what are we looking up?
I'm gonna pull up Google Maps
Ooh, we're getting scientific now.
just to show you what he went through.
When I just me being me and fishing locally around here, when I think about these rapids and going up to like a dam, I automatically like insinuate like going up the Siskiyou,
Alright.
like towards the lower dam.
I've been there. I had a jet boat. I went all the way up to the dam.
Yeah,
How do we?
And it's,
How do we share our screen now?
It's hairy. I've done it.
Somewhere over here.
how do we share the screen?
You did it before.
Oh, let's see. I think you have to add a scene, display capture.
Oh, not that.
Yeah, because
Can't you just add the browser instead of doing display capture?
I don't know.
So add browser. Oh,
Browser 2. Okay. I should have programmed this into the Stream Deck.
yeah, that would have been fantastic.
Well, I didn't think about Google Maps. I have Tackle Warehouse and
Oh,
YouTube
okay.
on there though.
I mean, if it pulls it up, does it automatically pull it up on the software?
Oh, what is this?
you can do amazing things with Google Earth.
Yeah, just pull one of those up. Pull up Tech Warehouse or something.
Okay, so it just pulls it up.
Yeah, it just pulls it up. Does Jared?
All right, we'll figure this out another time.
Okay. Anyway,
Paul's determined.
I am determined. Anyway, keep talking.
Well, like I said, you can go if you find a spillway, especially early in the year and stuff like that. There's always fish congregated around a spillway. I've seen many a time. You know, what was the Mississippi River? Ott DeVoe won that one at the spillway up in the Mississippi River. Won that right, Paul? He won one up there.
He's Ott DeFoe? No, he won it on Douglas.
I mean, no, he a couple years ago he won Elite Series on the Mississippi River in one of the spillways up there.
Oh yeah, it was.
Throwing a mag draft, wasn't it? He throwing a mag draft in the
Yeah, he was
rapids
throwing
or
some kind of big swim bait.
Yeah, big swim
paddle tail swim bait. Yeah.
And like today, you know, the classic Hackney was on a spillway, and even Minnesota said the only person he seen practicing up here was Keith Poche. I wondered, you know, when he's going to show up next to Hackney, but I don't know. I heard Hackney probably would have pushed him out of there.
Oh yeah. Hackney
Ain't fooling around.
No.
But Hackney only had 4 fish. But
yeah, but he still had a good bag. He had like 4 for like 12 pounds.
4 for 12 something. That's stingy today, man. Stingy as hell. But then, you know, first place leading Gussie, strolling at little minnow that Z-Man.
The Z-Man jerk shad.
Yeah, on that special head he uses. Strolling it. Said he couldn't use a net or anything because it kept picking up too much algae and stuff on the bottom.
Well,
I watched him catch his bag. It was 20 minutes. He caught the whole bag.
Yeah, it's what was wild was the view that they had, like that actually made watching someone doing forward-facing sonar,
watching it on screen,
cool to watch, because they had his Mega Live in a window. At the bottom right corner. So the bottom right corner of the screen was his Mega Live. So you could see his bait. Exactly what he was seeing.
You could watch the fish come up and
you could watch the fish come up and eat. You could watch see fish come up and look at it and drop back down. So you could see exactly what he was seeing, and it was actually that was a really cool.
You see the size of the fish and everything, and it's going to sell an awful lot of Mega Lives doing it that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Going to sell a lot of them. Going to sell a lot of them.
That was I didn't actually have a chance to tune in and see that view, but I do remember we have the group chat on the phones that we talk during the day, and everybody was like, "Did you guys just see that?" And I was like, "Oh, no."
They've been putting that up. Milliken was putting that up on his videos like a couple.
I
know. Supposedly all you need is a cable to hook it up to the camera, and you get the screenshot from the Mega
Yeah,
Live.
that makes sense.
It's time because all these live scope tournaments, because who wants to see a guy leaning down the back of his ass all day long, you know, staring at the screen. Now if you're looking at the screen what he's looking at, it makes it 10 times more interesting. You can see the size of the fish and everything else.
Yeah, Givens, hopefully your search history doesn't come up on the screen.
That's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. Did Keith Poche win this on smallmouth primarily?
No, he caught
Both.
He caught some big smallmouth, and he caught
primarily
two largemouth, 2 big largemouth. One was 4.6 or something. 4,
yeah, he
5.
caught like a 4.5 pound largemouth.
Yeah,
He caught another largemouth, but mostly over the 2 days it was mostly smallmouth.
Yeah.
And this was this in the same area?
Yeah, spillway.
Okay, yeah. When I was looking at that, like just in the short clips online, that looked like smallmouth heaven to me.
Well, yeah, and that's what he said when he caught the big largemouth. He goes, "Wow, largemouth, man!" And you know, there was only 5 fish over 4 pound caught in the whole tournament, and he had 2 of them.
Yeah, he was on the juice.
Yeah. Well,
on the juice.
like I said, Ott DeVoe, that's his lake, and he's won so much money out of both of them lakes, Douglas and Cherokee, and that's where he wanted to go. He said it on camera, and I watched the interview afterwards. He was congratulating him, and he told Keith, he said, "Man," he goes, "I want it up there so bad. That's my favorite place on the whole lake to fish." And he goes, "Congratulations, man." And Keith was like surprised that was his favorite place, but you know.
Ott's a river rat. I mean,
river rat. Yeah.
I mean, that's what. I mean, I don't know if Keith really realizes that, but
yeah,
they
Well, I watch all his videos.
they changed the rules of the opens because of
Because
Octophone.
he was using, they said you couldn't use a jet boat for one. That's
So he
why
stopped
I
using a
couldn't.
jet boat.
That's why I had to borrow a boat to go to Douglas
Then they
for
changed.
the thing.
Then they changed it so you couldn't use a tunnel haul either.
Yeah, then he changed after he won. They changed the rules. You couldn't use a tunnel haul boat, and now, Pochet's got just a flat bottom boat with the jack
I mean,
plate
it's just-
on it.
it's a
Jacks it
17
up and goes.
17-foot aluminum boat. And to me, there are guys out there, a lot of guys complain about it, especially in the opens, that he's getting like an unfair advantage.
Bullshit.
But I completely agree with you, Greg. He's running a 17-foot boat. He might have it.
He is fishing at the
Sorry.
purest level that you can fish. Just go fish.
No, I'm not saying
You know.
pure. I'm not saying
Well-
that it's any better style of fishing as any pure or anything like that. I'm just saying he might get an advantage in maybe one tournament a
A
year,
couple, whatever. Yeah.
maybe one, maybe two tournaments. He's at a severe, but the advantage that he gets in those one or two tournaments does not equal out the disadvantage he gets from running a 17-foot boat.
For speed, everything
In-
else. Yeah.
Big water. I mean, granted, he ain't afraid to run it anywhere because he is got balls of steel.
It's burned him too. He's found backwaters and stuff like that. It's burned him. He hasn't caught anything out of it. Just because you can get somewhere and get in a backwater, don't mean the big fish are going to be there. That's not a given everywhere you go.
Well, it's not like he's always fishing backwaters either. That's
Yeah,
what he likes
no.
to fish.
Yeah,
so
that's
he
what
goes
he
there.
likes,
But he's at a severe disadvantage when you get on someplace like St. Clair.
Yeah.
And they're going to St. Clair this year. If the wind's blowing on St. Clair, he's at a real disadvantage for doing well in that tournament. Now, I know what he's going to do. Even probably even if the wind doesn't blow, he's going to go largemouth fishing.
Yeah.
And he's going to catch 17 pounds of largemouth every day and end up with good points, and he'll be good to go. Unless the wind's not blowing and he can really get out and chase smallmouth.
He told me because I went fishing with him when he was down here for the Open, and I was on a boat. It's cool ass little boat, man. It's heavy duty. It's not like that little. It's like 18 feet.
17.
Yeah, well, that's what it drafts, but it's like actual length is over 18 because it's actually long, but it's real narrow. And the whole back of where the motor is, it's got like a whole pad in the back. And you could stand on the back, and like with cameraman, he could just stand on the back of that thing where it's no deck. It's like a splash well, but the splash well's like 3 feet long. And the thing is a tank, man. It goes everywhere. Because I said, man, you're going to run down there and run down that bay and run all the way down here, and wind blows, man, it gets bad. He goes, oh, don't worry about me, bro. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. He goes, I took this thing, Cayuga, wherever they were at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, I ran across that whole lake with this. Ran across the other side of it. It don't bother him. He said it don't bother him
Like
at
I
all.
said, he's got
He don't care.
balls about this fucking big.
Yeah, he don't care.
Sounds like
Forgot
it.
my word.
Ooh,
Forgot my rule.
dollar in the swear jar. But
Well, he's dude. Like he don't fish. He just fishes, dude. I thought there was something special about how them guys fish or anything like that, but they don't fish too much different than what we do. It's just their experience and time on the water.
It's
And,
so the biggest difference between those guys and us is their decision making
Yeah.
and knowing when to quit a spot, knowing when to stay, knowing when to make that run, when to
Yep.
not make that run, when to stay close. The decision making, I think, is the biggest thing. We all know how to catch fish, and we can all go on pretty much any body of water and find fish.
Actually, Tony, I think he got rid of the big gator tracks because he said he's got to fish that boat all year. He's using the same boat for MLF and bass.
Yeah.
He ain't using the big gator tracks.
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
using
using
the-
it.
he's
Or I
using
don't
the
know if
small
he,
one.
because this boat he's got is a new one. That's a new one's got. It wasn't the same boat he had last year. It's a new one. It's the one with the built-in winch and all that in the front. That's a totally new boat.
Yeah.
That's not one he had last year at the Opens. Because that one was beat to hell. Beat the living hell, dude. It was beat up.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just it's just decision making.
Yeah.
we can, any one of us can go. I went to the St. Lawrence for the first time. The first time I'd ever been there, and within 2 days was catching 19-pound bags of smallmouth.
Yeah.
We can all find fish.
The problem
But
is
when you
with,
get into a tournament, it's knowing
Yeah.
when you pull up on that spot, am I sitting on this spot for 10 minutes or am I sitting on this spot for 2 hours? And
That's
being able to
always
make
the
that-
mental argument.
Being able to make that decision in a split second and know.
yeah, and
Or
that's
when you get to a spot and your fish aren't there, knowing where they moved
yeah.
and being able to relocate them. That's another thing that they can do way better than
And I
the
think
average person.
that's like a huge problem too. It's a huge problem with me. I fish off history way too much, and it's burnt me. I don't know how many times. I've caught one here. I caught one here 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I caught
Don't
them
jack up the
here,
screen.
and I try to stay on something too long without finding new stuff, and that's one of my main problems. I've been trying to break away from that.
Ken Berry, his balls are like bigger than basketballs. Medicine ball size.
I've
To
done
run
it.
that boat in the water that he runs it.
I've done the same shit. I've done the shit with 20-foot Triton, freaking run shit that you won't even.
Yeah, I'll run anything in a
Run it.
20-foot Triton. There's a big difference
Run it.
between a 20-foot Triton and a 17-foot aluminum.
I mean, shallow water with nothing.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about running like Cayuga in the wind.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, Cayuga in the wind is 4 to 5 footers.
yeah, yeah.
Not me, fam. That little John boat I have doesn't even go past the bridge hardly.
But running sketchy shit, I've run some sketchy shit.
I run sketchy shit all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, go look at my skeg. You
yeah.
know.
All the lower stories.
I've
I'm on
been
my third lower unit.
I've been to the dam up Conowingo on my jet boat, and I freaking almost
I've been-
killed Tom Gim. He was with me on a co-angler, and I'm running up the river. I said, I want to go up the river. As the water dropped like a good bit, and the rocks are showing. So I'm running up the rapids. I made it through like 3 or 4 of them, and I slammed the rock like 25 mile an hour.
Oof.
Engine cover comes flying off, and he almost fell out of the boat. It's crazy.
Is that, you talking
It's a
lower-
dangerous fishery
Yeah,
on
it's-
Susquehanna. It's a very
it's-
dangerous
You're talking
fishery.
lower
You gotta
Sus-
learn how to read that water.
You're talking lower Susquehanna then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the dam, to the Conowingo
Like,
Dam.
From
yeah.
downstream, okay.
Yeah. From
I
Titans
thought
up to
at first I
Conowingo.
thought you were talking about
No.
Conowingo.
I've been all the
But
way
I-
up to the
but
top.
I was
above
going to
Conowingo.
say we've
That's-
been up there in our glass.
with a jet boat, that's easy up there. You know, you can run all over that place.
The
on our
fiberglass
side.
boats go up there if they know
Yeah,
how to do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but you ain't running up to the dam when the water
What's your Tommy Biffle?
is low.
I'll tell you who's got a set of nuts when it comes up to running up there in a fiberglass boat is Tony. Tony will run up there wide
Oh,
open in a
Conowingo.
fiberglass boat on Conowingo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I. I mean,
There's a lot of people that don't have the balls to do that
I've
though.
done it a lot.
Yeah.
It's plenty
The-
of water up there. It's just got nowhere to go.
So I talked to Wesley Gore when he was down there practicing for the Open, and he had his glass boat in that low water above Deer Creek.
Yeah, I've been.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Because the water was really low, the river was really low, and he was telling me how he had to get into some of the, like he would find the chutes. He would trolling motor around until he found the chute.
Yeah.
Yank his trolling motor up real quick and trim the motor up and just gun it through the chute.
Because Poche told me he was up at the dam. He was practicing up around at the dam. He went up there.
I'm surprised he didn't fish up there.
He said he didn't find nothing up there. He said he couldn't find anything. He said, before I went out with him in the Bush River, he said he hasn't caught but 3 fish like in 3 weeks. And it was crazy. And he caught like a 3-pounder and like I caught 1 or 2 small ones in the bush. And he goes, man, that's the biggest fish I've caught in 2 weeks up here.
Really?
Yeah, he was having a rough time.
That's kind of funny.
But,
What are you doing out with him on the bush?
I didn't want him. I didn't want anybody to see me in the gunpowder with him and give him any juice up.
You say you give him juice in the bush? Stop giving those guys. Let them guys find their own shit.
I might need a favor from him one day. That's all I said.
You ain't gonna need a favor from him.
No.
First of all, he's not gonna give you shit.
I don't know. I like the guy. I like the way he fishes. I
Second,
like his boat. and
Stop
stuff.
giving him stop giving those guys freaking juice.
That's the only person I talked to.
Let them find
Only
their
one.
own shit.
He was on it anyway. He knew everything about. He knew every hidey hole in Joppatown. He knew it. He just
I ain't
wasn't
talking about Joppatown.
confident.
I'm talking about the bush.
Well, I'm talking the bush either. I told him. I said you're not going to win it there. I said the gunpowder's better than the bush, and
Yeah, okay. That's,
you know.
that's good. I like that you told him that.
I personally believe that myself
There's bigger
because
fish
I'm
in
more.
the bush.
Take that back. I'm more confident with that, with the gunpowder.
I don't know if the bush would hold up for 3 days, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't hold up for 3 days. One day, yeah, big bag, but not that much done. The number, there's big fish in there, but I don't think the numbers are as much as in the gunpowder. No.
I mean, we caught a lot of fish in there. In our club tournament, when do we have our club tournament? In July.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we had like 6 limits. 6 5-fish limits that came out of the bush. Nobody left the bush.
I've struggled in there the past 2 years. Struggled bad.
I mean, I had 13 pounds in July.
Yeah, I've struggled bad. I've struggled bad and not done well in 2 years in that river.
Yeah.
I'm getting disgusted with it. I'm just going to, if I have a tournament, I'm going to run out and go somewhere else.
We had like 14, a 14-pound bag that unfortunately a couple of his fish died,
Yeah.
and 2 13-pound bags.
Yeah, I've got some big fish in there. I've had
I mean,
these
it's-
18, 19-pound bags.
There's plenty
A
of
couple
fish in there.
times.
It's just stop showing pros anything about our home water. Let them find their own shit
Shit, they know it.
and stop giving it. But let them find it.
How many
That's not the
people-
point, Greg. The point is to let them find it on
Yeah.
their own.
How many?
They don't need any help from us.
No.
And you may be giving up something that if they get a camera boat, is going to destroy our local stuff.
How many of the pros in the open were sitting on every known sneaky rock pile in the pond? Every one of them were sitting on one of the sneaky rock piles. They knew exactly what they were fishing.
There ain't no sneaky rock piles in the pond anymore because you
I
have
certain
electronics.
areas, like Mikey was Duarte was trying to get on his stuff during the open, and they were already on all his stuff he had, all his trees he planted.
Well, you go around one time. It takes about
Yeah.
45 seconds to scan the entire pond.
Yeah, but they don't know what's in there.
I can tell you exactly what's in there.
Well, you've also
Electronics are
No, I
too-
mean,
electronics
the
are too
the quality of fish. that's
They
in
know
there.
what's in there. They know Davy Height top 10, the Elite
Yeah,
Series
but-
out of there. They know the quality that's in there.
But
I mean, it's public knowledge since somebody won Mr. Bass and broadcasted it to every
I didn't
single
broadcast
person.
nothing.
No, your co-angler did.
No, well,
I'm sensing some hostility.
oh,
That's because I got a couple beers in me.
okay.
I love it.
It's
Keep
my-
in mind,
it's
I
my
love
fault.
Greg. Greg's a good friend of mine.
It's my fault.
We go back and forth on
Okay,
stuff.
I admit it's my fault.
Oh, I love it.
It's my fault. I kept that shit tight since 2010. Okay, Mr. Bass was in 2015. I kept it tight under the hook. I told one person. Okay, and that's it. And I won the Mr. Bass out of there, and it was out. And
The weekend after you-
certain people's running around the weigh-in after I weighed in and everything, going, "I know where you were fishing. I know exactly where you were fishing." I said, "No, you don't. No, you don't." It kind of agitated, pissed me off, actually.
Well, that sounds like something like Tom Todd would say, and Tom Todd did know where you were fishing.
One Tom Todd. No, they knew, but they weren't yelling it through the weigh-in.
Right. I mean, it was known to a few people.
Yeah,
when-
Was the fence-
However,
Was the
people
gate still
weren't-
across the waterway when
No.
you? Wow.
No.
It's the same as it.
I
it's
had been in
basically
there.
the same as it is.
I had been in there before he won Mr. Bass.
Yeah,
but-
well, I mean, like when
but the-
2000,
but the
2010, when I was in there, I found that stuff. I was taking some Boy Scouts. My son was in Boy Scouts, because that's how they were like 12, 13 years old. My son's 26 now. You know, he's 13 years old or whatever. And I'm sitting there at the mouth of Days Cove at the hole fishing for some catfish and stuff. And I seen this guy come in his little V-bottom aluminum boat, just ride by me and keep on riding back. And I'm looking, where the hell is he going? Because that's before really anybody got Google Earth and stuff, was looking
Right.
at it. And I'm looking, I said, where's the hell he's going? And I'm watching him go all the way back, and he disappeared. I said, come on, guys, let's pull up. I'm going to go right back there and see what's going on. Where's he going? I rode back there, and all of a sudden I come to the opening, I went in the back, I said, holy shit. Didn't know this was there. The only boat I seen for 2 years, the only bass boat was a Ranger with a Honda on the back of it, and one other boat. Everything else was Little John boats, like local Bird River guys. It's the only people I seen back in there. And I
JT
fished it
and,
hard for 2 years.
JT and Andrew Wiley. And
Can I get one of those, Paul? One of mine. Thank you. Yeah, I only found that place. I didn't even find it. I had somebody just take me back there that I was fishing with one day, and that was that was 6 or 7 years
I wish,
ago.
Paul,
now,
you
but-
I didn't really even know you back then. And if I known you, take you back here and fish that when it was untouched, basically untouched, unbelievable. It ain't nothing, nowhere near
It was-
what it used to be.
And it's still good, even though it is incredibly overfished. I mean, to the point now where
You know,
I don't even like to.
I don't
to-
even go
I don't
back
even.
there.
I don't even like to fish it with the amount of people that go back there.
Well,
at this
you know how
point,
you have a
but-
good day, you can go back there, because 20, 30, you know, maybe 1.5, 2 pounders, maybe 3.5 pounders, maybe a 4 throw in like that. Okay. That, what I did was 3.5 was the smallest fish, up to 7.5, almost 8 pounds. 40 fish.
Right.
Unbelievable. But
Yeah.
the fish kill killed a lot of fish in there too.
The fish kill killed a lot of fish in there,
A lot of
and
fish.
I will say the weekend after you won Mr. Bass,
Yep.
there were 4 or 5 boats, because I was back
Yep.
there
Yep.
the weekend after. Me and my buddy Randy. There were 4 or 5 boats from Chester County that out of the Northeast. that
And
were in there.
they were running fish out of there with 18, 19 pound bags up to the Northeast. Bunch of boats. Probably not to be able to win the tournaments, but they were running bags of fish out there.
There was a lot of money that was won out of that pond.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
from tournaments that were launched out
But
of Havertys.
then what happened to fish kill? Well, it's a double-edged sword. A lot of the big fish were taken out there. They probably lived. If they were still back in the pond, they could have died because of the fish kill. You know, that's how I put it.
And I mean, and then yeah,
It's not like I blasted it out, man. I found something. You know, I kept it close and.
no, you didn't blast it out yourself. It's
And
just
you know,
anytime you
I
let
got a lot of grief. I got a lot of grief from them guys, man. And, Maryland Bass guys. You know, some of the guys were great to me, but some of them saying, "Oh, this guy, you know, he can't fish nowhere but there," and all this other stuff, and he don't deserve to be on a team because he did this, and you know.
That's just petty.
You know,
That's
it's
just petty bullshit.
I kept my.
luckily,
Wits about me because I was about to really go off because there was some shit said in my Dandridge when I went down there. There was some shit said behind my back, and I heard a couple. I kept my mouth shut because I wasn't having no problems. But I really got pissed off about some of that shit.
that guy isn't in Maryland Bass Nation anymore, so you don't have to worry about that.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You
I know exactly who
what
you're
I'm
talking about.
And
The same-
I was so pissed off, and you know, I'm sorry I don't own a business and I can't fish 24/7 and go all over the place and fish all the time.
You know what? You were,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, I mean, you earned your way there as much as anybody else did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I made it. We both fished the state. You know, we were both on the state team that
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
and fished a regional. You know, I made
Uh-huh.
it the same way. I made it through that same tournament.
And I did good. I did good, man. I did good down at.
And you
know,
did. I mean,
I did good. I
Yeah.
lost fish the second day, and I would have probably made the third day if I didn't lose a bunch of fish.
yeah,
You
I
know?
made the third day. Just
Yeah.
thanks to a Hail Mary.
I had 3 fish the second day, and after I lost like 5 fish, and they kept coming off, I threw my rod down, told my co-angler, I said, it ain't happening for me. It's just not happening. It's just not meant to be.
And that goes. That goes back to that mental.
Yeah.
That mental thing that we were talking
Yeah,
about earlier. That
exactly.
decision making is.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen to you. That happened to you at Deep Creek a couple years ago
Happened to
too.
be at Deep Creek. Happened to be at Deep Creek.
Decision making. And you had a
And
big
it's
bag the first day.
Yeah, nice bag sitting like third, fourth, but and then chop tank. I had the Mr. Bass 1. I had it 1, and I lost 7 fish that weekend at 2-day tournament. Which if I landed 3 of them fish, I'd have won that tournament.
Yep. No, and that's
and
well,
it spun out. I was spun it out, and you know
instead
it's
of
crazy.
just calming down, thinking about it,
Nope, I was running
You know,
around like my head cut off.
and if
Spin
you
it
had
out.
sat down and you think about it, you
Yeah.
would have thought about what you were doing differently.
Yeah.
and you would have went back to what you're used to
Yeah.
rather than something new.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, I've already called you a dumbass for trying something new during a tournament.
Dumbass, exactly.
So, you know, you would have went back to, if you had sat down, calmed down,
Yeah.
thought about it, said, you know what, I'm losing too many fish. I'm going to go back to rigging this the way that I always rigged
Yeah.
it, and you would have been fine.
It didn't
But
click. It didn't
gets
click
your
in my head. I was just trying to get bites because the bites were so few and far between. And when I got them and I lost them, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So what's going on? I just gave it up for bad luck.
I
But
know.
there's always a reason why you lose fish.
I told you after the tournament.
Yeah.
Because we talked about how you were rigging it. Because you asked me why you couldn't figure
Yeah.
out why you were losing so many fish.
Yeah,
And it turns out you were just rigging it wrong.
I learned a huge lesson. Put it that way.
And then I gave you shit for trying something new.
I wanted it bad too because I wanted to say, yeah, I won Mr. Bat. Now I won it on Easter Shore and 2-time. And how many people's won a 2-time? Maybe a couple people, 2 or 3 people, maybe.
I'd have to look back. I'm sure there's quite a few.
Yeah, the old guys. Some of the old guys did.
I'm sure Ed Riley's won a few.
I think he said he won 2. I think that's what he told me.
Paul Getka's probably won a couple.
Maybe. There's an older guy that won a bunch of them back in the day.
There was somebody
the
who won
90s, 80s.
like everyone in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like every year.
I think, yeah. That's when the nation was big, man. Them guys, them guys were tough then. Ain't nothing like it used to be.
Are you still gearing up to maybe try to make a state team this year? Is that your goal?
I don't know, man.
You gonna fish the
Yeah.
SQTs this year?
I'm trying to find a date for the sign up or whatever. I signed up for the Mr. Bass as a co-angler because I didn't. Frank beat me this year, smoked me actually. And,
He does
so
that.
I'm in the back of the boat, which I'm kind of glad. Tidings, I can't stand tidings, so I'm in the back of the boat. I'm gonna sit back, throw chatterbait all day or crankbait or whatever, and just fish. No pressure, no nothing. Hopefully I get a good draw, and
You might draw me.
yeah, good. I'll sit there, sit in the back. All I need is 3 fish, dude. I'm used to catching 3 fish.
I'll put you on.
I'm used to catching 3. So
So the
that's all I
nice thing
need.
is the cutoff for the SQTs is after Mr. Bass.
It's after Mr. Bass.
Yes.
Oh, good. I'll wait till the last day. So as if I get in co-angler, I'm good.
Right. Because then you won't
Yeah.
worry about fishing the SQTs.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to
Yeah,
worry
you'll
about
be
it.
fine. And sometimes the co-angler's more fun anyway.
Yeah, it's not
It's a
as
good
much
learning
pressure
experience.
because it's 3 fish and it's
Well, and this year, remember it's a different qualification too. You're qualifying just to fish
Yeah.
the state championship,
yeah.
which would be on Conowingo.
Yeah, and it would be great to maybe go as a co-angler
Well,
in
then you
a
go
big
to that.
tournament.
Well, it's not a big tour. You'd have to qualify through Conowingo.
Yeah, I mean, Conowingo, yeah.
You still have essentially a 50.
If you get to Conowingo, I don't think it's going to be hard. I don't think it's going to be super hard, not like it is in the past.
What do you mean? To get to
Like,
Conowingo in October is, it can be tough.
it can, but,
It all depends. It really just depends on time of the year. What are you doing?
Super Tony.
Trying to get Tony on here. Tony boy, what's going on? Can you hear us?
No. It don't look like it. He's staring with his blank look on his face.
Which one?
What's going on?
There we go.
I hear y'all. Can you guys hear me? And how bad is this delay?
I hear
We
you
can
good.
hear you.
Oh, we can hear you.
Good.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so there is a little delay. That's what it is.
It's good.
There's a lot of delay.
That's a lot of delay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of it of a delay. Quite a bit.
Wow.
Well, Tony, just give us a quick rundown. How are you doing? When will we see you back? What is your goals when you come back? Just give us a rundown, and then we'll move on from there.
That's a bad
So I guess my rundown is to continue to kick ass on Thursday nights this year. I obviously want to whack some fish on Conowingo. I got some new toys on the boat that I want to get good with. I really want to figure out how to use forward facing sonar this year. School down here, it's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's using all my brain cells to get through this. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it's all part of the game.
You
I get home first week of April, so I don't know exactly when, depending on when they let us leave the schoolhouse and whatnot. But this could be the last weekend I'm not fishing. So y'all enjoy the fish while you can, because it'll be there for long.
Hey man, no, absolutely not. I'm pretty excited to have you come back and see the Ranger with the new the Raptors and the hydraulic jack plate and all that good stuff on it, man. You're gonna be rocking and rolling. And the Thursday nighters when they kick off the summer is always a good time, no matter what the competition is. But I know you're a smart dude, so I'm sure it's the fact that it's tearing your brain cells up. It's a challenging course, and I'm proud of you for taking the initiative to do that. So good on you for that, and we're looking forward to have you come back on the podcast and explain what's been going on in better detail, not so delayed.
It's all about the career, man. You gotta get the work done so you can play.
Or just put yourself into massive amounts of debt.
Yeah. Yeah, working sucks. Trust me, I know. Got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this delay is ridiculous. So I'm happy to call in and just say hey, but I'm gonna let y'all go so that I don't take up everyone's time. But I'll keep on commenting and roasting y'all. But keep up the Keith Poche stuff, man. That stuff's cool. I love it. I love the fact that every time Keith Poche wins, it's like a giant middle finger to all the rich guys with the nice ass bass boots.
Hold on.
So
They're not cheap.
I just want to let you
Real
know
soon.
he's still rocking a $70,000 boat.
Oh yeah.
That boat ain't cheap. They're custom made, actually. They make them for hunters, mostly hunters and like bayou work boats and stuff like that down in Louisiana. It's if you watch the videos and everything like that, most of them are like work boats and like
Duck boats
you
and
watch
stuff like that.
watch Swamp People and all, right? You watch that on
Yeah.
Gator Hunters and stuff like that. They use the same kind of boats, big tiller boats and stuff like that. Heavy duty waterman boats down Louisiana and the bayous. That's who they make most of the boats for.
Yeah, they're high quality boats, and
Yeah.
I know Keith Poche's boat is loaded with the stuff that he has on it is like a $70,000 boat.
Yeah, he made his custom design that boat for what he needed. He put the live wells in and storage and up front for batteries up front to even the weight out and all this stuff. And the boat's heavy duty, man. That thing's thick. The aluminum is like, I don't know what it is, 110 or 130. It's thick as hell.
I'm not understanding why we have two different screens of the same exact thing, and it's throwing me off. I want to delete this one, but then I'm scared that we're not going to have footage, so I'm not going to.
I'm looking at this one.
It's fine.
Oh, it's
It'll be fine.
fine,
Just
but
don't
I'm
touch
telling you, no, I'm not going to touch it. But this software is so complicated.
Yeah, I know.
Like it,
It's fine.
I'm telling you, like week by week, I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep on getting better at this. I'm going to get better at this, and then.
You drink beer and
That has nothing to do with it. It's only two so far, but I'm just like, I did figure out how to get Tony to call in,
That was cool.
so that was cool.
Aside from the delay.
Which I think we can figure out with settings in OBS.
But we had good audio with him though.
And
That was
video.
good. That was good.
Which was I was cool about. So we got a maybe
closes. Can you close this
yes,
thing over there?
maybe in another couple months we'll try to get together with Mr. Denny again and see if we can improve that audio.
Yeah, that audio on that interview was a little sketchy.
I don't. So Tony says Keith Poche says the local guy could compete and win in a smaller, affordable rig. But you have to look at what Keith Poche runs. Again, you see Keith Poche on tournaments like this where he's running shallow. If he's fishing smallmouth, he's running forward facing sonar. He's got a live scope. He's got a Garmin Force trolling motor. He's got a $3,500 trolling motor on it. He's got Garmin electronics. He's got a 12-inch in the front, 12-inch in the back. He's got $5,000 worth of
Dude,
worth of units
and
on there.
he's a veteran, dude. He's been around forever. He's been, he's fished forever out of
Yeah, he's
big
fished for a
glass
long
boats
time.
and everything like that. He's not new to this.
No.
He's been in the game a long time with all them guys. He's
No,
a
he's just
veteran.
Tony. He's just got 3 screens and 20 rods. The only difference between that boat and a glass boat is where it can get to and the speed.
What motor is on the back of it?
It's a 115
The
Merc.
new one,
It
he's
is a
got
115 Merc.
The new one, he's got a 115 on it. The old boat last year had a 90.
So it's not it's a prop boat.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
has
prop
to be a
boat.
prop boat.
Yeah.
It
You
has
can't-
to be
yeah,
a prop boat.
You
Yeah.
can't run anything but a prop
Okay.
Can't run
and-
a tunnel haul, and you can't run a jet. It's
Also, because he is in this Gator Tracks boat, does he has to stay in this boat for
All
the
year.
whole
All year.
all year.
all year,
He can't
or,
go to a-
or a boat similar to it if it breaks down and he needs a barge.
Essentially, if
Alright.
you have, it's a 17.5 foot aluminum boat. If something went wrong with his boat, he would have to fish out of a 17.5 foot aluminum
something
boat.
comparable. He probably has his old boat for a
Like
backup.
Brandon Palaniuk's fishing the Classic out of a loaner boat
He tore his boat
because
off. I
he
heard.
ripped
yeah.
a lower unit off or something.
Tore it up. Yeah.
He did something to his boat in the last day of practice.
Yeah, I was
and, like,
I was
tore it up.
surprised at him, man. At 1 5-pounder and 1 small fish, dude. He And
What's up, Phil?
Phil, what's new for this year?
Yeah, fill us in, buddy. What's going on?
Fishing out of the same boat? That's because that's been an Elite Series rule for about 10 years.
Is MLF different than the elites?
I'm
You know
not.
what I mean?
I'm not 100% sure what the MLF
And
rules were on
and
it.
he
but
made that rule because people switch into jet boats or
It was
switch
Roland
into
Martin.
aluminum
Right.
boats. Yeah. Well, I think
It's
it was
the Roland
I think
Martin
it was
It's a Roland Martin.
after Mark Menendez took that aluminum boat up under the
Oh,
spillway.
Roland Martin
Yeah.
was the jet boat rule.
Yeah, jet boat.
So you
and
can
then-
do jet boats,
then
and then you couldn't change
Mark
boats because
Menendez.
Mark Menendez on was that on Dardanelle?
I think it was Darnell. They went up there, and actually some people did the same kind of shit to him.
Okay, so
threw
Phil's saying it's
rocks
new
under the
to
spillway and stuff.
Phil's saying it's new to MLF this
Okay,
year.
right on.
I was never really, I'm not familiar with the MLF rules.
And they're
So-
trying to make the minimum in some of these tournaments 18 feet and 150 horsepower. And, like my boat will be like the minimum boat you'd be able to fish out of. And I think that's one rule in
Well, there is a minimum. The minimum
the
17
Toyota series or
for what?
one of the MLF series. I think it's 150 minimum and 18 foot.
I'm not that I haven't seen.
Or they were talking about doing that.
I know there's a BASS has a minimum of like 17 feet or something.
But that would eliminate, that agitates me too, because that would eliminate the guys in the 17-foot trackers and stuff like that. Can't afford boats, can't afford big boats, so they just eliminated all these guys that are trying to do it on a budget. And my boat is a $50,000 boat if you want to buy it today.
Yeah,
You know?
Douglas is like that's actually Douglas and Murray are my 2 favorite lakes in the country, Phil. Those are my 2 favorite lakes to fish.
Phil says you can practice in anything, though. Ott was using an unmarked boat for practice. That's cool in my opinion. Go out in something that you're not noticed in. Try to find that water, and hopefully people don't obviously people are going to drive around and be like, oh, that's a freaking pro over there with his rat boat.
Yeah, they do that sometimes, but a lot of their tournaments are during the week too.
Yeah.
So you don't get a ton of that.
MLF is basically made for TV, because I watched the awards presentation or whatever and all that too, and dude, it was like awful. It was like the guy was screaming people's names and stuff. It was like awful. There's like the crowd. They could say, "Come on, give us a noise in the crowd." It was like crickets. Nobody was even there. It was like, come on, man. I now know why. Like Swindle and other guys, Palaniuk wanted to come back to Bass because at least you got some crowds that weigh in. You got a trophy presentation at the end of the tournament. You don't know who won when they're just sitting in their boat after the clock runs out. I bashed it forever, but I just don't like it at all, man. Bass is what I like. And the crowds, the people, like look at the Classic, all the people want to be there. Even their Red Crest don't even come close to the Classic or anything like that, or Bass.
Red Crest from what I heard, was a lot better this year.
I heard it's a lot better. A lot more people showed up to their
they're
expo and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. It's just I wish the animosity would just freaking
That's
stop.
the biggest thing. I don't have any issue with MLF. I'm a BASS life member. I don't have any issue with MLF. Other than I wish they would just communicate.
Yeah.
Because from a fan standpoint, and not even from a fisherman standpoint, from a fan standpoint, I want to, I want to be able to see. I didn't want to see, Keith Poche have to miss the first Elite
Yeah,
Series.
miss all the dude. He missed all the
He missed the first
extravaganza, all the media day. He missed the banquet and everything, all that stuff.
Well, right, and he missed all that stuff for the Classic. He.
And I'm sure he had to juggle stuff because I'm sure there was a mandatory meeting and stuff he probably had to go to and meet because he said he was running back and forth.
Yeah.
In one interview, he said he's running back and forth. I said, are they going to allow him to fish if he say he misses a mandatory meeting because he's fishing for 100K and he's in the running for it? And I was just wondering what was going on in it. I usually find out like the backstories after the whole thing's over with.
There's nothing wrong with pro fishing, Tony.
I'm a fan, dude. I'm a fan. I watch it.
I'm doing
religiously.
everything I can to get into the fishing industry somehow or another because
It's your passion.
I like my job, but I don't love my job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be 40 this year. I don't have a whole lot of time left to make a big jump like that. So
Well,
next year,
I'm not talking
we're gonna-
about anything trying to go pro or anything like that. I know it's not possible with how what my job is and what I have to do and the time I have, but it's possible for a lot of people to do it. You just got to have the money to do it and the time and
you
everything
do
to
need,
do it.
yeah, absolutely need a cameraman.
Time, man. It's time.
And that man is Phil Givens.
So Zach, that's a good point. And about 10 or 15 years ago, the Toyota Texas Bass Fest, that is now a BASS tournament, used to be an invitational tournament, and they would invite like the top 50 guys from FLW and like the top 50 guys from BASS, and then like handpick a few other people from around the country, and they would fish a tournament against each other, and it was the best tournament ever.
Yeah.
Brent Ayler won it a couple of times.
That's why the U.S. Open out west brings everybody out there to the U.S. Open, and all the big names go out there. A lot of them, and the U.S. Open is one of the most prestigious tournaments to win besides the Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. Cliff Birch has won it like 3 times.
Yeah, well, he lives out there. But,
Twice. I think he's won it twice. I think the only person that's won it 3 times was Aaron.
Tony says the easiest way to become a millionaire fishing pro is to start as a billionaire.
Only
I like it.
That's the quickest way through to become a millionaire from fishing. Professional fishing, if you understand what it is, Phil's comment is perfect on that. You need a cameraman because making it in professional fishing now is not just tournament
yeah,
fishing.
now you
Social
need a camera,
media
man.
is
Now
a
you do.
massive draw for a lot of these professional anglers. A lot of
Well,
these guys are going to YouTube.
There's a
They're
reason
going
for
and they're doing things like kind of like we're doing now because the amount of reach that
Right,
it
because they're
has
not-
for their sponsors
You know,
is
they're-
above and beyond what TV
You
can
just
bring.
can't-
Exactly.
You just
Yeah.
can't win tournaments. You just can't win tournaments now with them guys. They realize that they got to have
Winning
a
tournaments doesn't
cameraman.
sell baits.
Okay,
That's-
I'm
Men's
sorry, but
channel.
being a good fisherman does not get you sponsors anymore.
No.
Being a good social media act gets you sponsors and gets you
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're producing or not. I'm not saying anything bad about this particular individual. He's a good fisherman. Doesn't have like the legendary status of some of the guys do, but like
No.
I think like Matt Robertson
Yes.
is a guy that like social media loves this dude.
Well, did you
Blonde
see him?
mullet,
Did you see
like
him?
you know what I'm
Did you see him the
saying?
way in?
No.
He cut his sleeves, come up, did a Stone Cold Steve Austin beer chug.
Yeah.
And there went up.
Yeah,
He's-
like that's what I mean. I'm sorry, like
They
whether
love him, yeah.
yeah, people love
And
that
that
shit.
was frowned upon years ago. You know,
The problem-
like look at Iconelli, they hated him. They said he shouldn't act like that and everything. You know,
So the problem, talking to us, like Phil was talking about sponsors and how they're not always.
Mike Anelli's crazy.
The problem with sponsors now is there's 500,000 people who will make 15 videos a week for a 10% discount.
Yeah.
Because they'll do something for nothing. So they'll blast social media. They'll blast Facebook and they'll blast Instagram with all these video shorts and stuff like that, saying that Ranger's the best boat ever made, or whatever, for because they get a $5,000 discount on their boat.
But
a $5,000 discount on their $120,000 boat.
You know who's set to be like a huge name if it works out is Milliken. He is the real deal fishing, and he is a social media fishing guy, which a lot of people hate him because they think he's a YouTuber, Guggen fishing guy, but he's not. That dude can fish, and he's got the subscribers. And dude, if he does well and makes an Elite Series, he's going to be one of the top name guys because of all the popularity and everything that he's got.
He's already. I know
he's already there,
doing very well.
Now
for
he
himself.
backs all that shit up. He backs it up.
Sorry,
You're good.
Paul's
Paul's playing footsies with me.
I know he liked it.
And I've been watching his videos. I wasn't big into him, but I now I'm watching with all the big fish he caught. And he's just put a video of giant fish he was catching last week. And he really don't. He pushes sponsors, but he don't push like the brand a lot. Like he's running
He pushes
Canvas boat and stuff like that.
6 cents.
Yeah, he owns part of the company.
Well, but he's pushed 6 cents since before he
because
was
he told a story.
Did you watch
he
that?
was
See
on
that the
Bass
other
Talk
day?
Live. He's talking about a
Yeah.
story how he met the guy when he was just starting out and everything, and he actually bought into the company and all this stuff. And that's how he started. But the dude can fish, man. He's like
No, he definitely.
Man.
Well, most people don't understand that before he got into
was a
YouTube,
tournament guy,
he was a tournament fisherman.
yeah.
Look at his room. Anytime he's like sitting in his room doing it, and you see BFL trophies behind him.
Yeah.
He's not.
He does put some clickbait out there to get people clicking on her.
Oh yeah, he is the king of clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait. Yeah. But that's how you work the social media thing.
I need new glasses. I can't read that.
Dude, you can't just start a YouTube channel and think you're going to get a bunch of views and stuff like that. It's crazy. You put the best video in the world out there, you might get 20 views. I had like Instagram views and stuff like that, and I was trying to push stuff and everything, and
There's an algorithm that is impossible to break.
I was looking at it getting like a couple
It's
hundred
hard.
views, and I had where I was shooting a crossbow in my basement got like 300K views in like a week. I said, "How the hell is that possible?" It's insane.
The biggest thing is being able to having followers and being able to put out the content and being able to market that to the sponsors.
Yep. And that takes time too, and a lot of work.
Yes.
Well,
Trust me, I know.
obviously, when you go to a Facebook or Instagram platform as a professional, and 10,000 people instantly follow your platform before you even start posting serious social media content, Instagram, Facebook, etc. is automatically going to bump you up into a higher category of a higher view ratio algorithm because you have the viewer, because you have the followers that you do. Now, like,
You're a hot topic.
for Bass and Beer Radio, when I make a video, it's like I'll almost go, this might sound stupid or whatever, I'm going to almost go onto Google and figure out what Facebook is looking for in an algorithm right now. Do they want their videos to be 30 seconds and under? Are they looking for short clips? Are they looking for a specific type of music? There's certain things that you can click in these boxes for an Instagram, Facebook, even a YouTube algorithm that will push your content out to thousands more people if you can check those boxes.
And
figuring that out is very, very difficult, and especially in a consistent rate.
I will, and I will never put out content that I have to force into something that I don't want it to be.
A format that you don't want it to be in. Yeah.
I
You
Tits and
can
ass.
you
Tits-
can
See?
make
Phil just told you what the algorithm is: tits and ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
yeah.
for
everything.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For life.
So
all these
just-
Instagram fishing girls.
All you have
that,
to,
it's
all,
ridiculous.
perfect.
It's
You
ridiculous.
just get Phoebe out there in a bikini
Yeah,
while
that's
you're
all you
fishing.
need.
You're good to go.
Do you think I haven't thought of this?
That's all you need.
You could
Well,
be YouTube famous.
Well, like podcasts, you know.
Just
like,
make sure that when she catches a fish, you gotta like run up behind her and like
We gotta
put a
work
giant
on that.
wedgie. Gotta give her like a big wedgie
the
because
highest.
that's what they all that's
You don't need to give them a wedgie in the bathing suits the girls wear anymore. It's already a wedgie.
this actually came from an interview with Dar Sizzle, if you know who that is.
Dar Sizzle. What's up, Rob?
Dar Sizzle is
Steiner, Hammer.
an Instagram fishing person, Instagram fishing sellout. It would be the best term, and her lawyer husband, when she hooks into a fish, will come up behind her and jack her bikini up her butt crack before they start filming. That's how they have become internet famous. Hey Rob, what's going on, man?
You know what? There's ways into the game, and if you can play that game, you know what? I know this is totally off topic, but this is like some of these girls that are going on to OnlyFans, making $30,000 a year right now, and
month.
not leaving their house, or a month. I'm sorry, a month. I said a year, a month, and they don't even leave their house.
Maybe a week.
So you know what I mean? It's like if you can break it, then you know what? More power to you, I guess.
Well, if you want to, do pornography and shit like that for,
Well, yeah, pornography's always
it's ridiculous.
Like, that's
Why-
It's
I
the
heard-
reason
I
that
heard
it's the
somebody
reason
talk-
the internet was created.
I heard
well,
somebody.
not the reason the internet was created, but
Massive
I will
reason
tell
that
you,
the internet was created.
the reason
This is not fishing related at all.
This is 100% not so. Greg's old enough to remember. You're probably not old enough to remember VHS and Beta. You know why Beta didn't take off? Beta was a way superior, better video quality, everything.
Yeah, smaller tapes, yeah.
Because the porn industry went to VHS.
Yep.
That is 100% the
Wow.
reason that Beta wasn't what everybody had in their home.
But like I heard some guy was saying, I was seeing his Joe Rogan podcast that the one guy was saying, don't you think you see any hot girls working at Chipotle all now? They're all at home doing OnlyFans selling their asshole for $3.99 a month.
Right.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm
it's
saying,
like-
dude. So many that get on the
it's like
internet, they're
crazy.
like, you sexualize me. I'm like, you're selling
Yeah,
your
and
butthole for $5 a
and
month.
It's crazy. It's just disgusting.
It
really
is.
If you gotta subscribe to that and pay money for that, you're sorry. You're sorry.
It is it is freaking funny, man. I
No face, feed only, 40K a month.
Yeah.
what the beep?
Well, let's get back to fishing.
Yeah.
Not
So-
for the OnlyFans or anything like that. Let's
so
get
Rob-
back to fishing.
Rob made a good post. Tactical bassing is one of those.
I'm watching them for years.
Yeah, been
Love
watching them
those
for years.
guys.
They're fantastic. They put out good comment, no gimmicks. Yeah, it's not clickbait.
Matt
It's good.
Allen is the messiah of bass fishing. He's the messiah.
They push a
Go
little bit
ahead.
of product. They push something, but they tell you what the truth is and tell you what really works instead of over the brand.
Tony. Yeah, that's gross. Give me the link, please. So, yeah, you know why I like Matt Allen? Drives a champion.
Yeah, champions. He liked that Restore video. Him and his other boy with the champions, 210 champions.
210 champion.
I think
Those
they got
guys-
new boats now. I think they got new boats now.
He's still running this champion.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were getting a new boat.
Those guys is where it started
He's
for
got a
me.
210 champion with a 4-stroke Merc on it.
Yeah.
What's the boat that was wrecked?
That was a Cobra.
Yeah.
A Cobra.
Yeah.
So they've always been running in unique boats. Then they're not running
Yeah.
in nitros like everybody else.
Cobras are actually the precursors of the Phoenix. The Cobra hull was used for the some of the Phoenix stuff.
Yeah.
Good hulls though.
Yeah.
They were good boats.
But now,
Interesting.
Now boats are 100K.
All
They're
boats.
small.
So just so you know, if you didn't know this already, all the hulls on any boat that you see, none of them are original. They are all copies of something.
Yeah.
Usually, there hasn't been a completely new hull since 1985.
Well, yeah, because
they just splash them, make a couple of little adjustments,
Yeah,
and call it a day.
because all the testing and everything was done back.
Oh,
then.
Phil
Back
Gibbons
in the
fishing some
80s.
Thursday.
Oh,
night
here
this
we
year.
go. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. Yeah,
Bring
imagine the footage that's going to happen for the Thursday Nighters this year is going to be unreal.
Let's bring it.
I'm sure Phil will probably cover himself some, and Bass and Beer Radio will be covering every single Thursday night weigh-in. So
Oh yeah.
I'm going to try to go live, but we're also going to record and upload in full quality the following day.
Greg, when will the Thursday nighter start? When's the solstice?
Okay, it's June. The summer solstice is going to be on Thursday because I think I told it before, because the Friday nights were great and everything, but had to put a tournament on that Saturday, and I didn't want to do
I
the
feel
Thursday night on a Friday night and have to wake up and go to Conowingo. That's where we're
I
going to
want to talk about that. Having it on Thursday night, I think it's going to hurt you.
I maybe might cost us a couple people, but it'll be to set it up for the Thursday nighters for the rest of the year, because I think we're going to have a better turnout than we did last year. I doubt we're going to have 35 boats on the first summer solstice, but I think we'll have 20, 25 plus. I really do think that.
The
if
turnout
people-
last
Oh, yeah.
year was massive.
I forgot about that. Phil's hanging out with Salty all the time. He's going to come back and just smash us.
If people want to fish the Thursday solstice or whatever, they're going to make it so they can show up.
I just think I think you might lose, some people, because it is kind of a late night. When you fish till 9, you don't get out of there till 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then get home and then have to get up and go to work in the morning.
I don't disagree
You know?
with that, but the way this whole schedule thing worked out, and there was something else going on.
I mean, I'll still be
I
there.
can't remember.
The local guys that love it and
Yeah, they'll
love
be there.
the
They'll be
area,
there.
they're going to be there.
I don't have an excuse.
You know what I mean?
I don't have an excuse. The only one I didn't, the only solstice that I haven't fished since I started bass fishing was the one that I wasn't allowed to fish because I would have got DQ'd from the court tournament on Saturday.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try to work like you guys want to film it and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to get some lights up, so it's always too dark. I want to get some lights up and stuff, so maybe a portable light to bring, and I'm gonna always have my backup scale with me. That ain't gonna ever happen again.
That's right, Phil.
That was
Backup scale.
wild. That was wild.
That was at least it worked out. At least Clint bailed us out on that one. But
Well, I have a scale at my house now.
yeah,
So
I got a scale.
If you run into anything, I have a scale.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's actually the same one that you guys, the new one that you guys have.
yeah. But I got the old one. I took it apart and fixed it. It was a wire come unsoldered and it works fine. But
Well,
we got the new scale, so I'm
got
gonna
a
have the
backup.
backup with me all the time.
backup's good. To have.
And I'm gonna put some lighting up and maybe do something with a new board or something maybe for everybody.
Jason,
you know.
Jason, you need to fish more this year. Chad, can you please stop playing with the volume while we're talking?
Is that messing with you?
Yes.
I feel like I'm in a barrel talking to myself.
I haven't heard any difference.
But like I
that's
said,
weird.
guys, share that on social media. I think it's going to start June. I think it's June 27th. I think we're going to have the first Thursday nighter. I'm not too sure. I think I'll put it out there and just spread it, share it, and try to get everybody to start fishing the Thursday nighters, man. It's going to be a good time, man. It's the best fun I've ever had tournament fishing is doing that. It's fun.
I do have a lot of fun fishing the Thursday night.
It's fun, man. And it's enough time to where you can make a little run and you can get on something new and
Depends
fish
on
in a
how-
crowd.
Depending on how fast your boat is, you can run to the flats.
How fast the boat is and how the weather, the wind blows or not, how rough it is. That's the only thing. Like I said, we used to have them back in Middle River back in the day. I think we had like 40 some boats one time, and it showed up good. We started running them. They were Wednesday nights at that time out at Stansbury Point in the back, the lagoon, and man, we had good turnouts. I always had 25 boats. Always had 25 boats. And I that old trait, man, I ran the Bush River several times and won 3 or 4 in a row. To the Bush, from Middle River. 16
Our-
months.
Our buddy Kevin Parsons just got flagged for a community standard violation on Facebook because he told somebody he was on Dyke 2.
He said he was on Dyke 2 down in Lake Anna, and they freaking banned him on Facebook for saying Dyke.
That's funny.
That's crazy. But
No, the no wake zones are not lifted for Thursdays.
Kevin says Dyke 2 is
and
offensive.
Tony, no, we're not doing them out of Middle River because
You don't get as much
the
participation.
speed limit thing is too
And you
hard to get around. But you know, we
And
used
you
to
get-
we used to do them out of there, and it was, you know, we always had some big bags.
Well,
Everybody
I think you have better participation out of Joppatown.
Oh yeah,
For
because
sure.
everybody wants to catch fish. Nobody wants to go to Middle River and
Yeah, but
fish
I mean the
stocks
one
and stuff like that.
2 years ago when you did the first Thursday nighter and you moved up, I just ran to the Gunpowder.
Yeah, we switched it
It
up.
only took
We
10.
were
It only
just-
took
We were just
like
figuring it
12
out.
minutes to get there.
Yeah, we were just figuring it out. So,
Well, I'm just saying, for Middle River, like it didn't. It's not like it took me long to get there.
yeah, and the main reason Scott wanted to do it in the Wednesday nighters at the time back in the day is they wanted people to bring fish back to Middle River. He's how
think-
Scott is. He wants Middle River.
I think
Middle
putting
River.
fish in Middle River is a waste of time.
And I wouldn't say that there's fish in Middle River, bro. I'm telling you, they're there, and I'm telling
ain't
you,
that
it's
many.
going to get better and better. It's going to get better and better.
It's
I've seen it. I've seen last year.
it ain't been
It's
better.
going to get better. It's going to be.
It's been the
Yes,
same as
mark
it's
my
been the
words.
same.
3 years from now, you'll say, Greg, you were right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you will.
It's been stocked for 10 years.
I
And
can't.
it's never gotten
I
better.
can't explain why it
The only
changed.
reason
I
it's
can't
getting
explain.
better. Hold on. I will say, if it's getting better, I will say it's not because of the stocking program.
No, it's
It's
changed
because
okay?
the stocking program has been going on for
Back-
10 plus years.
Back when it was good, and like I started really seriously bass
I'm-
fishing in 2001. Okay,
Don't-
that was the tail end of Middle
Before
River
you,
being good.
I want to say, I'm not saying the stocking program is hurting anything.
No, no.
I'm not
It's
talking
not
bad
gonna
about
hurt
it.
nothing. It's-
I'm just saying that it's been stocked for
Yeah.
a number of years and it didn't show any
Yeah.
improvement until recently
Yeah.
when something happened in Middle River.
Grass.
The grass came back.
Well, here, dude. Back in the day, there wasn't no grass in Middle River, and the bass fishing was awesome. You could pull up on every point, a dock on points, and the deep ends and everything, and you catch 3 or 4 fish off every dock. So
Back River is where it's at. It's the shit.
there's fish in Back River, bro.
Yee yee!
No, I know there's fish in Back River.
I watched a video not long ago. And I watched people 2.5 pounders one after the other on spinner baits. So
Oh, I know they're in there.
they're there.
It's just
Okay.
that comment was funny.
But
It's
you
the
can't
shit.
get there. You can't get there. Okay. You can't get to where the fish are at in the Back River.
Is it
Unless you got a jet boat or a mud boat.
Is it because of the thing that's across the river there, or because I can get
Well-
over that in my boat?
But it's you go across Eastern Avenue or at 695. Okay, you see that big flat right there between 695 and Eastern Avenue. That's all mud. That's like this deep. You ever been there low tide? All this is a mud. There's a channel that goes to a couple people docks, but it stops at the end of the docks, and then you got the big flat. There's no channel. There's really no channel there.
So you can't get back there. I mean, you can.
I heard Danny Rodriguez try to get back there, and he was like, somebody seen him stuck in the middle of the mud flat, like while they're going to East Point or something. He said Bruce trails of mud shooting up in the air, and he says, "That's Danny's John boat."
Phil said he won't even let his dog get in that water.
Why would you? You're gonna have to give it a bath.
Dude, there's still a friend of mine lives on the one side, the south side of Back River. I forgot what neighborhood it is, but he fishes for white perch, yellow perch, and everything. And he was catching 12, 13-inch largemouth off the docks on the one side. Back in Middle River, not back in the back, but on the one side. Danny Rodriguez used to catch fish out of there all the time, and he said they're still back in there.
Yeah, there's fishing back there.
There's fish in there. I'm not saying it's tournament winning fish, but they're in there. But it's the whole thing when you get to Rocky Point, the watercolor changes. It totally goes to dingy mud as soon as you go past Rocky Point to go in Back River. Now before that water on that one side is crystal clear. You know, back in the day, I won tournaments on them set of docks going back to Browns Cove and all that like that.
Oh yeah,
Dude, that was
Browns
awesome.
Cove. Browns Cove still got fishing.
Yeah, I
But
ain't been
Rocky-
back here in years, but I'm gonna try it out this year.
There's some. I mean, that creek that's right there at Rocky Point looks.
Yeah, well, I tried to get back in there this year, and I guess I went on low tide. Man, I couldn't hardly find a channel. I was trimmed up and barely getting back in there. And I said,
Really?
"Screw this shit! I couldn't get back in."
The one
there.
by the dock, or one
where
by the ramp
is.
where the ramp is.
Yeah. I couldn't get back in. It was like real. It was low, and I was like hitting shit. And I said, "Man, it's all muddy." I said, "I ain't wasting my time." I turned around and got out of
Yeah,
there.
we me and my buddy went striper fishing down there one day, and I was scoping out that creek. I was like,
Yeah. Speaking of striper fish, you seen them big stripers they're pulling out of Susky?
yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah, my buddy caught one. His buddy caught a 50 incher.
Nice. That's
Then he
a good one.
caught a almost 4 pound smallmouth.
I
On the
can't
same
wait
bait.
to go catch some smallmouth. God, I'm dying to go catch some smallmouth, and the
He
weather
caught,
is
he
just
caught
not
one. He caught
cooperating.
one three. He weighed it 3.9 on a half-ounce rattle trap, right there with the stripers, right there in the midst of all the stripers.
Mm-hmm.
But just be warned, be careful. Don't lift them out of the water. You're going to get burned with a ticket because DNR's out there with drones and everything else trying to get people burnt.
Oh yeah, I mean they don't even have to use drones. They just sit on.
But somebody posted them on, so there'll be a ton of people out there probably this weekend because somebody posted a couple pictures. My one friend didn't post no pictures because he knows what happened.
Well, they've been that place. So I went up there. I was smallmouth fishing, or I was looking for smallmouth, and yeah, there was like 30 boats up there.
Was it?
Yeah,
he
above
was out there
95.
during a week, and he said he was no boats out there where he was at.
I was up there on a Saturday, I think.
Kevin K-Hole Parsons in the house. The K-Hole.
Yeah, I think I was up there on a Saturday. There were like 30 boats up there.
Yeah. Like I said, my first tournament's April 1st up there. It's a club tournament.
Rob, I don't.
I'm gonna commit to the river, and I'm gonna go up there and find something.
Rob, I don't know how many boats we'll have tomorrow. The weather's not looking, the weather's not fantastic. So, we'll probably get the diehards, but I would say probably 15 boats, maybe 20.
What is your river house tomorrow?
We have our open tomorrow.
Oh
yeah.
wow, it's tomorrow. It's come up too fast, man. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
what
well, we
I
had to
said
do
in
it
the group chat
tomorrow.
earlier. I said,
We had to
wow,
do
the
it in-
season is underway.
We had to do it in March this year because there's from the beginning of April, well, actually since last weekend until mid-June, there's an open tournament every weekend
yeah.
on the Upper Bay.
Oh yeah.
It's
It'll
insane.
never stop.
And like a lot of like big tournaments too. It's not like small club open tournaments. It's
This is just
APAs, BFLs, Chester counties, which are up. They're always 100 boats. It's crazy how many big tournaments are on the Upper Bay.
What's the weather going to be tomorrow? Decent.
Wind's gonna blow.
It's supposed to be raining in the morning.
Wind's
It's
gonna,
gonna be
wind's
rain.
gonna blow.
Yeah.
Wind's gonna blow a little bit. It's gonna rain all day.
Yeah, I was saying you might have 18, 20.
It's going to be a
minutes.
little tough. It's going to be tough.
It's gonna be tough, but it'll be fine. It's an east wind.
Well, the
So,
diehards will be out there.
it's gonna be. I know. Rob's gonna be there, so that's why Rob was asking how many boats we were gonna have.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have. I mean, I know. I can count 7 or 8 off the top of my head that have already confirmed they're coming. So
You don't fish it, do you?
no, so we don't fish it as a club because we put that on for you guys. That's our fundraiser.
Yeah.
So we put on the tournament for everyone else.
Yeah, that sucks. So,
So we just get up in the morning and
yeah.
Will Spark says, "Hey fellas, if Brian Schmidt keeps doing what he is doing, chances are he might be bringing the Bassmaster Classic trophy back home
He could,
in Maryland."
I think
That
he's
is
in third
true. I
place.
forgot to
think he's
mention
in
that.
Third place. He's in third place, I think.
he is in
close.
third. He's in third place. Yep.
But if Gussie repeats what he did in the Elite Series when he won, I don't think he can be beat because I watched him catch that limit, 18-pound limit, in 20 minutes, and he left the spot. So if he can do that every day and it holds up for 3 days, which he did it in a 4-day and it held up for 4 days, if he do it 3 days, he's got it locked up.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But I mean,
He's
Schmidt's
the
right
only
there.
one that's catching them though. The other guys that try to do what he does, and they're not catching them.
Nobody was fishing in the same area.
Yeah,
If
I
you
know,
looked at
but
the
they
bass track this
tried.
morning, the only person that was near him was either Corey or Chris, and they were cranking. on a point somewhere. They weren't fishing anywhere.
But I heard they tried to repeat what he was doing in about the same area, and they couldn't catch him. They gave it up.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. He fished for an hour today and then went and practiced.
Yeah, I watched him do it. It was like crazy, one after the other. He lost a 5-pounder at the boat, the first one.
He did try to boat flip it.
Yeah, he tried to boat flip it and come off 5-pounder.
Are you allowed to use the nets in MLF? No.
Bass. This is bass.
BAS.
No,
okay,
no,
I'm
no
sorry.
nets. MLF is no nets either.
MLF's no nets either.
Is there nets in any of?
Opens, you can't use nets either in opens.
No. Is there a reason for that?
Just to make it harder to land fish.
Okay.
They were thinking about bringing them back for conservation.
Well, there's only 3 days in the classic, so
Yeah.
they don't fish Saturday, or they
No.
take a day off, right?
No,
Or
Saturday,
or
Sunday.
Saturday the last day.
Yeah, Sunday's last day.
Sunday's the last day. They
Water
only
fish 3 days in a row.
Yeah, so Saturday. Wait, tomorrow's
It's-
Saturday.
It's,
Never mind.
it's full field. It's full field tomorrow, and then Sunday's 25 top 25.
I thought today was Thursday because I've been so busy at work.
It
I have no
started
idea what it is.
today.
And I saw
Friday
Will's
night
comment about the
shenanigans,
top 10.
baby.
Full field tomorrow and top 25 fishes Sunday, and
I hope he's more than top 10 on Sunday. Will I really would.
it's
like Brian
tough,
to
man.
win.
It's being very stingy, man. And guys are.
I talked to I talked to Brian up at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle, and he was really looking forward to this tournament, and he thinks he can do really well in it. So yeah, I hope that's the case.
They find something, like Matt Robinson said. He said he had 3 fish, but he had 3 of the right size fish, and he said he's just going to swing for the fences, and he said he's going to blow it out if he catches 5. But
What are you talking about for using note?
note source, co-anglers who reported him was in my club.
Why?
Why could you?
You said
Why couldn't you
nets
use
down
nets?
at the bottom. He meant nets.
Oh, nets.
Oh yeah, I remember. I heard something about that. Somebody was using a net. Yeah, I remember that. They didn't read the rules, I guess, and they were using a net. I heard something about that.
I heard that person was from.
If a net's not allowed in any of the,
I heard that net. Well, they.
Was that the one that had a big controversy in a fight and
It was a local.
put him on the friggin' bank or something? Yeah,
It
he
was.
got a
It
big
was.
fight.
He was a local.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
And I'm pretty sure that his co-angler is a regular listener of our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were saying, Will. That was my fault.
Yeah, a lot of them guys that fish these tournaments, they don't read the rule book.
Well, like that.
we've seen that recently, haven't we?
Some of those guys in
A
that
couple
Upper Bay
different guys.
tournament, they just jumped into that tournament. They weren't fishing.
Yeah.
They weren't fishing
Well-
all 3. They just jumped in. They were trying to pull that home field advantage.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the last year? Was it last year? Was Swindell
Yeah.
Junior or something? The
Not
kid
junior.
didn't have
Trey
didn't have the
Swindle didn't have
insurance
his
that he
insurance.
needed.
Trey
for,
Swindle did not have $300,000 worth of coverage, which
Yeah.
is required by basically all tournament organizations. You have to have liability, $300,000.
I wouldn't call that much of a fight, Rob.
He had like $125,000. His mom dealt with the insurance. And stuff like that.
What happened was the boater was a prick.
Yeah, well, that happens.
Yeah. That's
But Trey was in a position to win it. He was in position to win it and everything, and he handled it. He handled it like a pro, man. He went out there and took the camera boat.
I've heard
guy
that.
out.
I've heard that story from the source.
Yeah.
But Rob mentioned we're talking about fights about Keith Poche and Ish getting into a fight back in the day.
Oh, fighting in the.
that wasn't- that
Wasn't
wasn't
where
where
Keith
Florida.
pushed him over the boat?
No,
no.
Ish walked over into his boat and threw him in the water.
Keith in the water.
Yeah,
Well,
funny.
That's
because Keith
he
hit his
come in
boat.
hot. He come in hot into the lock, coming too hot, and just ran right into Ish's boat, and words were exchanged and stuff like that, and they exchanged words, and Ish freaking come pushing out of the boat.
It's
He
like one of
started-
them only times
they
where you
actually
hear
started
like,
fighting.
bring
I
your
think
boat
they
over
actually
here.
got
We're
He
back
threw
gonna
him in the
fight
water.
it out, like-
Ish threw him out of his boat.
pushed him in the water.
He-
And I heard he got
Ish-
out and he started
Keith
fighting.
Poche looks like he's
Actually
not
fighting.
really a small dude.
No, he's short. But
He's short and stocky, but
Yeah.
Ish is a really big dude.
Yeah.
yeah, the police were called. Everything. Nothing.
Yeah.
There's charges and shit. Yeah.
So
He
Keith
got to
Poche
actually
hit his
fight.
boat. Ish, they started yelling back and forth. Some words were said, and Ish stepped onto Keith Poche's boat and just went whoop and chucked him in the water.
I heard he got back in the boat and he started actually throwing blows and stuff.
I don't know what happened after that, but it was. If you can find the video of the first part, it's pretty funny.
In Tony's words earlier,
I heard they're
Keith
okay now,
Poche
though.
is a bass fishing treasure.
I heard they're okay now, though. That's what I heard. I don't know. We'll see.
I think they're both a little hot-headed.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them at the Classic, take a picture together. I was thinking about that today because Ish was there doing, I think Skeeter promo or something.
For what?
Yamaha promo. Ish put something on Instagram,
Oh.
and he's at the expo. So that would be pretty cool because everybody knows the Poche Ish thing. Everybody knows about that
Yeah.
if you're a fan. But that was the most famous one, actually.
Larry, I have met Ish on multiple occasions, and I have had nothing but a good experience with him.
He's a good guy.
He was one of the
That was
nicest
good.
guys that I've ever met.
Yeah,
I don't. You must have met him on a bad day, but I've met him at Susquehanna
It's-
Fishing
you-
Tackle
you know,
multiple times.
What are you going to do if somebody comes in hot? He probably wasn't paying attention. He's probably trying to get in a lock. Hit his boat. Yeah, you're going to be pissed off if somebody runs into your boat. I'd be pissed off too. You want to say some stuff and gets heated. Yeah, you lose your temper, man. Especially when you're running in the morning in a lock and you got all this adrenaline flowing and stuff like that. Yeah, you're going to get pissed off.
I mean, Larry, we must have met two different Ish Monroes because the Ish Monroe that I've met, again, I've met Ish 3 times at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle. Laughing, joking, nicest guy you could ever talk to. I mean, not acting like a tough guy, nothing. I mean, just all around good time.
Maybe it's different if they're out fishing or something.
Yeah, the whole Byron Velvick thing, I didn't think he got banned from Bass for that. I think he's...
1, there were no cameras, and 2, I didn't ask for an autograph.
Yeah, it was like after...
3, I was making fun of him for...
Yeah, it was like something. He was after the weigh-in or like after everything was over. I heard that's what happened. He smacked him right in the mouth or something because he's talking shit or something.
I don't know. Larry just said if you meet Ish in person,
I met him. He
ass
seems
and-
fine to me, but he's out there. He's not sure. He's not going to act like a hole when he's promoting his product
Right,
and stuff. Of
right.
course, he's not going to act like that. But dude,
I mean,
heard-
if I met somebody, if somebody came up to me after a tournament and I had a bad day, I'd probably be an asshole too.
Well, yeah, I don't know. They're human beings just like everybody else. You know, we got people in our locals that are, come on, man, I wouldn't give them time of day.
Oh, that was Byron Velvick. Bitch slapped somebody in the parking lot.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know if he got banned for Bass for that. I think that was after everything was over.
He never. I don't think he ever got
quit
banned.
fishing.
He retired.
He quit fishing in the middle of the season on a tournament because his wife. Because on The Bachelor, that's how he got famous. On The Bachelor, he was on there, made a bunch of money from that, and he married that woman from The Bachelor, and she went nuts and left and took his kid and everything like that. And he had to run back to California and get his kid and all this other stuff. He was on Bass Talk Live, and he's a real nice guy, man. He's
Tom, when the Elite Series had co-anglers, when you could be a
Yeah,
co-angler,
yeah.
and they were on the Potomac, Tom Todd fished with Byron.
really.
Yeah, he said that was the first time he's ever seen somebody punch, and this was before punching was a big thing.
Well, he was the main one that brought the swim baits in.
But apparently he
mainstream.
rolled up to he rolled up to the ramp. He was still drunk from the night before.
Wow,
he was
I
out
heard-
partying all night.
I heard he was a partier.
That's like Matt Robertson.
Yeah.
Matt Robertson he was like, man, I tried doing it. He said in an interview, he tried doing it, tried doing fishing the right way and getting a good night's sleep, and he sucked.
Yeah.
So now he's going to drink
That's
tequila
what he
at
said,
2 o'clock in the morning like he always did.
Yeah. He said this morning when he come into the interview at the weigh-in, he goes, "Yeah, there was some girl on a megaphone calling my name. I was going to come in here. I was going to leave with her."
See, I mean, I like personality,
him.
honestly. I like
we
personality
talked
when you're
about
talking to guys. A lot of them guys, when all you do is talk to them and it's just fishing, sponsors, done. It's just, You can relate. You can relate to people a little bit more.
When I went to the classic
kinda
last year,
open.
I talked to a lot of them guys, man. I talked to Carl Jackson for like probably an hour. He's
My
a hell of
buddy-
a nice guy.
My buddy Mark sat in a bar and drank beers with Carl in Texas at the
Really?
classic.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. I talked to Bill Lowen. I was talking to a bunch of guys, man.
He,
Seth Fighter, I was talking to him.
I bet Seth Slater's got.
He's kind of quiet. He's kind of quiet. Though.
I can see that.
He's kind of quiet. But,
He just wants to go home.
he's
shoot
just a
some green
normal
eggs.
dude. They're all normal dudes, man. Ain't no different than what we do, man. They ain't no different than what we do. They're just
Right.
committed to it. They got the sponsorship, and they're doing it. You know, they're just doing it. They love it like we do, and that's their career, man. They're in a position where they can do it. It's not, especially these younger guys. You know,
Fishing Toyota Series next year.
and,
That's
I'm telling you,
that's a big thing
I'm
too.
telling you,
Just
you
like we were
gotta-
talking about earlier with the social media aspect and being the younger guys to get out there and
I'm telling you, you gotta, and especially you gotta have if you're married, you better have a stable marriage and a understanding marriage, or have your wife involved with it as your business partner, or you know,
My wife told me to go for it, so
It's,
I'm
you
going
know,
for it.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
So
And
I'm fishing.
You don't want no personal problems off the water, because it'll affect your performance on the water. You know, just like they said, if you talk to them guys, because they've seen a lot of divorces and all kinds of stuff come from bankruptcies and divorces and everything. People trying to be a pro fisherman. It's been more sad stories than it's been good stories.
it's definitely not something
Wait.
that's just easy to get into. Like
Jason
it takes
Williams-
costs an arm and a leg to even get into it.
Jason
Oh.
Williams? You talk Jason Williams? You mean
Remets,
you mean white chocolate? Are we talking about white chocolate?
Derek Remets, okay, what happened to him is he come in gangbusters, won like the first couple tournaments, and was going like gangbusters. And something he got in an accident and almost got killed, didn't he?
I don't
Derek
remember.
Remets almost got killed, and it took him forever and to get back. He was in hospital for a long time and come back. Now he's a guide. He's a guide on Gunnersville, and he's a guide. And he's fishing invitationals. I think now he's come back and started fishing again.
Tony, it's actually not 50K more. That boat is only, so it's 135,000. That's only $10,000 more than a Ranger 521R or the Icon,
you know,
whatever it is. They're
like,
running 125,000 for those right now.
If you get back to like the boats, how much boats cost? Okay, if you want a tournament rig boat, it's going to cost you $100K. If you want all the electronics on it and everything you want, it's going to cost over $100K.
Depends
Easy.
on. So I have actually been looking at this. So you can get. I'm buying a new boat.
Yeah,
So I'm buying a brand new boat.
yeah.
I'm looking at Falcon
A Falcon. Oh yeah. Okay.
because I like
They're
the big
good
deck.
boats.
I like the big deck. They're well
Like
made.
I told you. I said Nitro ain't a bad boat, man.
So a
Nitro's not
Falcon,
bad.
you can get a Falcon 205 with poles, two 12-inch Helix units, Ultrex for 75.
Yeah, yeah. That's good.
So
price.
even if you add like another unit on there for like your live scope, you're still under 80,000.
Well, don't they advertise Nitro Z20 for like 53? But that's like, I know it's not going to go electronics or not.
So I actually built a Nitro on their website
Yeah.
because they start out, the Z21 XL starts out at like $62,000 or something like that.
I wouldn't want a 21.
By
I'd
the
want
time
a
you
20.
put electronics and stuff on it, it was like a $92,000 boat. And I'm not paying $90,000 for a Nitro.
Well, it's a, dude, I'm telling you, the Nitro, Ranger.
Have you seen the new Triton?
Same boats, bro. I'm telling you. The Nitros ain't like junk like used to be.
Tony, Blazers are not affordable.
Blazers are custom made boats. They're racing boats, basically.
They are not affordable whatsoever.
You got
Those
Allison.
those are 90.
Allison, Blazer, Bullet, all them. They're racing boats.
The Blazers are $90,000 boats.
Yeah. All of them are $90,000 boats. It's crazy. It's like, and now if I say I was going to say if I had money and everything to go
Craig,
buy a whole boat or whatever,
Mark Hicks asked you if you saw the new Triton.
get a 19-foot a 19-foot boat, 19.5 foot with like a 225 or something on it, that can do about anything you want to do. Go fast, go 70 plus mile an hour, and you don't need a rigged out 250 with 21 foot boat rigged out. If it's nice to have, yeah, have it and everything, but
Zach, I saw that. So his boat that he's selling is a F20 Predator.
I thought he was in low.
no, he's got.
He has
two
a
spots.
he has
He's
a
got two.
he has a low aluminum boat.
He does YouTube
Okay.
videos out
Yeah.
of low and stuff.
His tournament boat's a Falcon.
Okay.
So it's an F20 Predator, and that's a high 80,000.
Sean, my man.
So that
one's
that
for
boat
you.
that he's selling for 72 is a high $80,000 boat. And at a year old, he's taking about 15 grand off of it. That's not a bad deal. It's relatively low hours, if I remember correctly. I think it only had a couple hundred hours.
Yeah.
I saw it. I didn't pay too much attention, but 72 is not a bad deal for that boat.
That's just.
Boats are
It's a
expensive.
21-foot Falcon.
20. It's an
20
F20.
foot.
Yeah,
Nice.
F20
What is
Predator.
that? It's a two hundo, 225.
250.
It's got the 250
It's,
on it. Okay,
it's
well,
just it's just getting insane because
those guys run their boats though. You know what I mean?
Well,
They
they
use their
do, but
boats.
some of them like my buddy brought Greg De Palma's boat, and you would think they put a ton of hours on them in a year.
Yeah,
Had 140 hours on it.
yeah.
It didn't really have hardly anything on it.
Well, I was pricing up a lot of different things like boats, like because everybody knows I would like to have another aluminum boat and everything. I'm just wanting to like buy a hull, and you're talking like a low or a G3 hull or everything, still going to cost you $18,000 for
It's
the
ridiculous.
hull, and it's without a motor. And then you get a Suzuki or something. Suzuki's like $7,000. You get a Merc for like $7,000-$8,000. Like I'm talking like a 90 or something, 75 or a 90.
Yeah.
And then you put the jack plate on it and all this other stuff, set it up for,
Well, you're
shallow
guaranteed
water.
boat for
You're
30
still
grand.
talking 30, 32 grand. And I ain't got that much money in my Triton. I got a hell of a deal on that. I'd never buy a boat, another class boat
I
for
like
the
your
prices
Triton.
they're asking now.
Yeah.
It's insane. My boat, if you want to price my boat now, it's probably 50 grand. At least 50 grand with everything I got on it. They start out 36.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
More
the
than
list
that.
starting out at
More than
37,000.
More than that.
Oh, so most 18-foot boats now are going to be right around 50.
It's crazy.
Especially with, you've got, you've got 3 Helix 10s, 2 Helix 10s.
Two. I got poles.
Mega
I got
360.
Ultrex. Everything.
You have Mega 360, all tricks, poles.
All that.
You know,
yeah.
that's going to be a $50,000 boat.
Yeah, and it's
Fuel
like,
extends.
I paid Two, $27K for that.
Mega
And I
360.
added all the stuff on it because it's a base boat, but I added all my stuff on it. The main reason I got it because it got the Yamaha on the back of it. You don't see trades with Yamahas. Especially the newer ones. You won't see a Yamaha on the back of one. But I would never pay that kind of money again, man. It's just like
You can't
crazy
order.
money.
You can't order a Triton with anything but Lowrance Electronics.
Really? I knew I looked to look it up for a Yamaha. I think he put a Yamaha on them either.
Man, they had a freaking
Mercs and
nice.
Lowrance.
They had a nice loaded Triton at Bowers when I was up there dropping off my Ranger sitting on the showroom floor. I was like, shoo!
Yeah, they're.
But
Yeah,
I'd love to have
the sea foam in the cockpit area.
20
all was nice.
whatever
Sea
what are they
deck.
on
I
now?
mean, not sea foam.
Is it a TR20 again? Whatever
TR
their 20-footer is.
TRX.
Is it 20 TRX now?
TRX. They got a
The
lower
20 Patriot.
They got a lower model Patriot, which is got the bells and whistles on it. I know that's a little cheaper, but
The hull on the 20 handles rough water really well.
it's probably their old hull they've had forever.
But
I think the hull's wider, a lot wider.
But the
older ones.
21, apparently the 21 is faster. The 21's faster than the 20,
Probably,
which is
because it's
usually
longer.
not the case
Yeah.
because usually it's a heavier boat. Usually
Well,
21 foots are a little
well,
slower.
I'll tell you what,
But it's got a
having-
different hull.
I had a 2001. I got a 2019. I'm telling you, they are not built nowhere near the same, man.
Yeah, Phil. Chargers had that for like 5 years.
What?
My
They
buddy-
had heated seats?
Yeah, my buddy Frank that fished the Thursday Nighters had the wrap boat that fished the Thursday Nighters. His Charger's got heated seats.
How many batteries do these boats have in them to be able
Heated
to
seats.
do
Jesus
this
Christ, I
shit?
have enough problems with heated seats on cars. Imagine
problem-
the weather.
The problem with the heated seats is when it's cold enough to need heated seats, you're wearing so many freaking layers of clothes you can't feel the heated seats anyway.
Right.
It's all.
That's for the girlfriend.
You don't need all that stuff, man. You don't like all these like digital dashes and all this stuff. That's just more stuff to break and go up, especially if it's out in the weather.
So
I'd rather have a boat with the manual switches and everything.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the main reasons that I've been looking. That I've just pretty much decided that I'm going to buy a Falcon, because it's all manual toggle switches.
Manual toggle switches
That I can fix myself.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong. I looked at Rangers. I've looked at I looked at Nitros, because Nitros are pretty affordable.
Yeah.
They're all touchscreen.
Touchscreen shit. I'm telling you, that shit breaks all the time. I'm telling you.
Not doing it.
You have manual switches. You can diagnose that stuff on the water with a test light, and done. That dash goes out or the switches go out. You're dead in the water. You ain't fixing that.
You got a manual switch. There's like 3 things that could go wrong.
I know it's
you got a bad ground, a bad switch, or a broken. You pop the fuse.
The main thing is okay. I've been a mechanic my whole life, man, working on complicated shit, these new cars and stuff like that. The shit breaks, and people, the boat companies want to go with the people. Of course, the people got money, but they're not mechanics. They don't know how to do nothing but put gas in the boat. That's all they know how to do. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Most people don't know nothing. You know people like that don't know nothing about a boat.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing.
We both know somebody like that.
Yeah, and it's
Very
like,
good friend of ours.
it's like crazy, and you get all these bells and whistles on there. People buy it. Oh, I got this, I got that. But when you're out on the water, you'll be calling CTO when the shit don't breaks. I can get there and carry a test light with me, and I probably get my boat running or get it running if I have an electrical problem or fuse blows. Guys, fuse blow, they won't know what to do.
Oh yeah, idea. I mean, I could part of my regular toolbox that I keep on my boat is about 6 feet of 12 gauge wire, and a handful of connectors.
Yeah.
Because I can enough that I can repair something that goes wrong. Whether it be like a jumper, on the back of my switch panel, if I need to replace some of that, I have spade connectors.
Boats, they're so simple, it's almost funny. It's like people, I've rigged my electronics. Dude, it's easy to do all that. You got 12 volt ground.
It's easy to
you isolate your wires, you don't have interference, and you use the right size gauge wire and all this stuff.
Yep.
That's easy stuff.
The hard part is fishing your wire in a lot of these halls.
Well,
from
most
the things
halls,
that I read,
most
like
halls
these,
got a
like
pull
this
cord.
this
They got a rope
Ranger,
cord through the
some of
hall.
them do. This Ranger hall that I have, every time I get on some of these Ranger pages, I got people in there like, "How are you guys pulling your wire and stuff like that?" It's a challenge to just pull the wire alone. Understanding
If
your
you do
12
some of the
volt
shit I
bullshit,
do, like under dashes
So,
of cars,
I have a
you
feeling.
can figure it out. I hear that.
I have a feeling it's probably not as hard. One thing that I learned about boats is working on
If you're
boats
just
is
trying to-
not as hard as the internet lets you believe.
If you're
it
just
is.
trying to do things and you don't understand what you're doing, and/or you're just Harry homeowner and you're just trying to rig up your boat and you've never done anything before in your life, it's going to be pretty difficult.
you shouldn't be messing with something if you don't know what you're doing.
You do HVAC. It's not the first time you fished wires or something crazy.
Hell no.
You'll guarantee you'll look at it and be like, these people are idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I would figure it out, no doubt.
It's-
But I read a lot about it, and it's just like it seems like it's a pain for a lot of people.
It's having confidence what you're doing. It's like it's
like anything.
It's like know the basics. Some people just don't know nothing. I got people coming in the dealership all day, grown ass men who can't put air in their tires. It's like people don't have a clue about anything that works mechanically.
I think there needs to be a common sense test in life. I feel
In
like.
life.
Well,
in order
most
to get
people would
in
fail
order to
it.
get licenses to do specific things, you need to be able to pass common sense tests. To be able to go out and operate a boat that can run at 75 miles an hour across the water, that's the shape of a freaking spear. I think you should have a little bit more common sense than.
Well, I will tell you.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like,
everyone.
it's not a game.
Not just because now they have. There's an age cutoff.
Thing,
Every single person who operates a boat should have to have their boater's license.
yeah.
Every single person,
I
not
didn't-
just.
I didn't need one.
If
I
you
thought
were
that was
born
the law.
Only if you were born after 1965 or whatever date they
Yeah.
suggested.
I think it was
Because-
73 or something.
And I also think that kayakers should have to take a safety course
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think they should have numbers on the boats and everything. I think they should have numbers on the kayaks and register and have to pay the money like we do.
I won't go that far.
You know,
And
you
if
know
they
if
have
you have
a
an
mo-
electric motor on it, they need
have to.
numbers.
They have to have it.
A
If
lot
they
of
have
guys
electric
out there
motor,
don't have numbers on their boats, and a lot of them with the
and they
propulsion
get
stuff.
and they get popped for it too.
I haven't seen
DNR
nobody
knows
get popped for it.
DNR knows about that.
I haven't seen nobody get popped for it.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin makes a good point. He says people can't drive the cars, but you think they can fix them. Like, you know, it's
I'm not
No,
saying
no. You don't
I'm
have
not-
to be able to fix them.
No,
But
I'm
at
not
least
saying
be
you
able
got
to
to be a mechanic.
change
but you
your-
got to
change
know
your
the
own
you need to
tire.
you need to have some basic common sense on fuel and oil changes, and you need to be able to do some basic troubleshooting on things that could happen when you're out in the middle of the freaking water.
For the car comment, you know, I had me and my wife were having a conversation the other night about changing a tire, and you know, I was like, you can change your own tire, right? Like, you know, we've been together for 12 years. We've never
Yeah.
been in that situation. Like I had a flat. She's never had a flat tire, and she's like, no, that's what roadside assistance for. I'm like,
Well, yeah, people pay for it, but then
I'm like, but
then you get charged for
You
it.
could sit there
Well,
for 3 hours before
it's
they get to
included
you.
in my insurance.
Yeah,
So like they'll come out and do it, but like, you know, she doesn't know how to change a tire.
yeah.
You know, so
Well,
you know,
you-
people don't know how to
No,
change
it's,
a tire.
it's dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, it's dangerous. A car could fall on you, fall on your arm or leg, and you know it's dangerous if you don't know how to put a jack on your car. If you don't know how to block the front wheel and stuff like that. We had a recall on cars where had to put wheel chocks in the spare tire well because people were jacking their car up. The car would roll and fall on them, and we had to put wheel chocks in a recall in the spare tire well. Now most cars don't come with spare tires.
I
Really?
noticed that. Yeah, they come with a can of fix a flat.
A lot of them come with a can of Fix a Flat or
No.
Can of fix a
shit,
flat
are
and a
you
little air
serious?
compressor.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
You get a can of fix a flat and a little
You're paying
lighter.
premium price and you can't even get a donut wheel
Well,
in the
there's no
back of
room
your
to put
car?
it. There's no room to put it.
Hyundai's been doing that for like 10 years. They've been doing that for a long
And
time.
if it was me and I had a flat tire on 95, you think I'd pull off the side of the road? I'd burn that rim to the ground to get off the 95. I would never pull off the side of the road 95.
That's dangerous as shit.
Because people focus on you on the side of the road. Don't run right to you.
Not unless I can get over into like the freaking grass or something.
Yeah.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
off. I'll burn it to the rim. I'll sow sparks to get off the road. But get back to like the boats and stuff like that. You know how many posts you see on the boat sites? Oh, my boat will only run 65 mile an hour or 62 mile an hour. What's wrong? What's wrong? They don't know nothing about pad height. They don't know nothing about motor setback. They don't know nothing about nothing. They don't know nothing about prop pitch or nothing. They asking all these questions. You have no idea about it.
Right. And that's that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Is, you know, and not understanding how I don't understand how you can own, and whether it be
It takes
a boat,
time. It takes time to learn and understand the specific purposes of the setback, the jack plate, the prop pitch. It's not like you're not just. A lot of people
But
aren't going to go out and buy a John boat and then just understand what setback and what the jack plate and what all the different prop pitch is going to be able to do for you
But I don't think
at
that's
a basic level.
I don't think the issue is not knowing. It's the issue is people don't know how to get the information, and they want the information spoon fed to them.
Give it to them. Yeah.
You have a phone.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's got the internet.
It's all you
got
gotta do is
Google.
go into Google. What is prop pitch?
Right.
It literally, you don't even have to click on a website. Google tells you.
Why a Ranger boat only does 60 miles an hour, and it'll give you like 15 Bass Boat Central articles on what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, there's resources out there, and you see it all the time on Facebook. You know, people if you're in any kind of like fishing group or like lure group or anything like that, any kind of Facebook group, immediately people just go there and ask for it instead of looking for the information themselves.
And by the way, when you go on somewhere and you see somebody running 75 miles an hour in a boat that most people are only doing 65 in or something like that, they have a freaking big prop change or something, and the boat probably doesn't operate the way that you would like it to in a fishing performance
It's set
way.
up properly.
Well, look at
You're set up. It's
Well, you never know because like just because say me and Greg have the same exact boat, but my boat does 67, Greg's only does 63. Well, there's so much that goes into why
Weight
that goes.
variables and everything.
It could be that Greg has more gear in his boat. Greg has most of his gear in the front. I have most of
More
my
gas,
gear in the
more
back.
fuel.
But
I was
15
running
to
it on
20
the court.
miles an hour?
15 to 20 miles an hour. Usually,
That's excessive.
That's
Like,
usually
something is
I don't know.
done.
I don't know
Well,
how to drive, or there's something wrong with my motor.
There's a give or take to it. Like, you know, I bought a prop off Paul, 23 pitch. I was running because I wanted more speed. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read that totally wrong. I read that as I asked people who value their opinion, like they value their own opinion.
Yeah.
They made me
But,
laugh.
you know, I got to 23 from him. My boat was running like 61 on good water and everything like that. 61's pretty good for 18-foot boat with a 150. It's pretty fast, okay? But I got my 21 pitch on it now because it gets out of the water really good, but it only goes like 50, 57, 55.
So, Jonathan, that's there's nothing wrong with that. Asking someone who you value their opinion.
Yeah.
It would be like me asking Greg about my truck. You know, he's a Chrysler mechanic.
Yeah,
asking him, hey, my truck made this funny noise. You know, what's going on? That's one thing. It's when people just go on and like blankly ask on Facebook,
Blankly with
what's
no
wrong
research.
with my boat? And then they get 37 different answers that really just didn't help them anyway. Oh, sweet.
I wish I could figure out how to do the
I totally
screen
wanna-
share thing.
I want to watch that too. Most guys don't know how to come out of a chine walk. That's most guys don't even know what chine walk is.
No.
Rob.
As soon as this starts, they get scared and let off of it. You gotta buckle up and drive. Dude, I had a 2001 Triton. I know all about trying. I got 79 mile an hour to that boat. I know how to drive his boat.
Chine walk is
Drive it with your ass in the seat, boy, and wide open, and jerk that wheel back and forth, boy. She'll go. And
You
she'll
just gotta-
straighten right out. Once you jerk that wheel back and forth the right way, it smooths right out and goes. And just give it more gas.
and that's the thing. You have to know one. You have to know what chine walk is. Two,
It's
you have
just-
to know how to correct it.
Dude, it's like, especially them hulls. They're racing hulls. They race them boats.
Right.
And, you know, it's a lot to go on setup, just like a race car. It's like, you know, you got to set up just right.
That's my friend Donnie said chine walk. That's when my people go from point A to point B. He's Asian. If you don't, if you didn't gather that,
Eh,
my Asian friend Donnie. Donnie's a funny guy. I've known Donnie for a long time. He's one of my best friends. But yeah, China. You know, most people don't even know what chine walk is, and they just get scared, and that's why they say, "Oh, well, my boat will only do 65." Well, it'll only do 65 because you can only drive at 65.
Well, I think, you know, like,
But
your
again-
your boat don't chine, does it, Paul?
My I can run mine full trim, wide open throttle.
Don't.
Will not
Mine
chine
don't.
walk.
Mine don't want. I think it's only like the, you know,
When-
like
I
the
think you're only gonna
narrower
get-
hulls and the bigger fast boats are the ones you can get chine out of.
You're not gonna get chine walk until you get into until you get above 65 miles an hour.
You know, 65, 70 mile an hour.
At 60 mile an hour, I can take my hands off the wheels.
I learned all about boat setup because when I first bought my Triton, my 01, it was basically brand new, but it had an Evinrude 225 on it with no jack plate. The motor was sitting like 8 inches below pad, and I took it out Joppatown. Never drove a fast boat in my life, that boat with any kind of power like that. And it would go like 50, 55 mile an hour and start chining so bad it would throw you out of the seat. So then I started doing my research on it, put an 8-inch plate on it, got the setup right, and it was rolling. I could get it set up right.
Yeah, it's a lot, and chine walk is mostly about setup.
Yeah,
Setup and how your boat's weighted.
yeah.
If your boat is properly set up, it should.
See you,
chine walk.
Donnie.
And some hulls are prone,
Thanks for tuning in,
some
Donnie.
hulls are prone to it. You know, some hulls are prone to chine
Right.
walk. Like Triton hulls are known for time walking, known for it.
What are some
When shopping for your first glass boat, so if you're looking at a used boat, the biggest thing that I can tell you is learn how to check the transom.
Yeah.
And to do that, you make sure that the motor toter is off, and put both hands on the cavitation plate on the lower unit, and put bounce on it as hard as you can with all of your weight, and watch where the motor connects to the transom or the jack plate connects to the transom, and see if there's any flex in there. That's the biggest thing when you're looking at your first glass boat. If you're looking for a used boat, if you're looking at a newer boat, oh yeah, definitely test drive it for sure, to make sure your motor's working right. If you're not super familiar with boats, take somebody who is with you to look over it. If you're looking for a newer boat that you're pretty sure is going to be in good condition, then things you're going to look for are, the layout. What are your reasons for buying it? Do you want a fast boat? Do you want a boat that has a lot of storage? You want to buy the boat that's right for you, not just what people say is the best boat. I love Champions because they run rough water really well. That's why I bought a Champion. That's why I love Champions. That's why I would love to have a Basscat 203 hybrid.
Yep.
So I like that because of rough water. Now, they also aren't the fastest boats in the world. So you got trade-offs there.
Yeah.
So you really have to look at what you want out of your boat, and then look at, that'll narrow down to what brands and stuff you're looking at. And then once you find a boat that looks good, then you have to go look at it. And you have to be, I think the most important thing you'll have to do is be patient, especially if you're buying a used boat. I don't know if Jonathan is still listening, or if he's still on. He asked me a lot of questions. He was buying a used boat. He ended up finding a really good deal on Stratus. But he was looking for a Champion and ended up, he asked me a bunch of questions about Champions. What, showed me some boats. Showed me some boats that he was thinking about going to look at, and say, hey, look at, what do you think of this deal? And there were a couple of boats that, because I've looked at more boats, that I was able to point out some issues before he even went to look at it. And I told him, hey, keep an eye on this because that something doesn't look right here. He looked at one with a power pole, and I just happened to notice that the power pole was zip tied, so it would hold up. And he gets down there to look at it, and he's like, yeah, it was zip tied power pole. The power pole didn't work.
Used boats too. When I was looking for them, I want an inside boat that's been kept inside its whole life, because there's a big difference between an inside boat and an outside boat.
There is a lot of boats out there, people that they buy the boats and they don't ever actually use them. They kind of put them in the garage and they just leave them in there. And then about a year or two later, they're just looking to get out from underneath of a payment. And they're trying to get rid of the boat.
That's the best deal you can find.
And then that's the other thing to look for is hours. And if they don't have the hours, ask them if you can take it to your mechanic. Yeah. Or if they can get a mechanic printout for you, especially if you're buying like a, say like it's a 10-year-old boat. A 10-year-old boat can have 150 hours or it can have 1,500 hours.
Yeah.
It all depends on how much that person used it, and you don't know that.
You can usually tell by the abuse on it or whatever, and what's going on with it. You can usually tell. Nowadays, I wouldn't even consider a two-stroke.
Phil's getting a pontoon with a 300 on it. Party boat.
That would be so sick.
Party boat. We're all fishing the 13-nighters off of it.
Go out there. I've seen pontoons with 2 300s on the back.
So I got.
Could you imagine going rolling 60 on a pontoon?
Yeah. So
they go fast.
At Deep Creek, I was out of Deep Creek 3 years ago for SQT. I was practicing, and I'm by myself. I got like a quarter tank of gas. So I'm rolling, right? I am running 61 miles an hour down the lake. Next thing I know, this pontoon boat passes me like I'm sitting still.
Yep.
Just right by me. 2 400s on the back.
Yep.
400.
West Virginia.
2 400s on the back. Had like it was like this pontoon boat was like 27 feet long. two 400s on the back and just went by me like I was sitting still at 60.
That's a big thing in West Virginia and Ozark Lakes and stuff.
It's
like
a
that.
house.
It's badass pontoon boats. You know?
Oh, this thing
It's
was
a
huge.
house.
It was a trailer. It was the size of a trailer.
Yeah,
Do some of these things have roofs on them? Some of these pontoons?
probably. I don't know. Some
I
of
mean-
TVs and shit?
They'll have like what do they call them?
canopies and stuff. Like
what is
swim
that top?
platforms and stuff.
What is that?
Slides.
Like bimini tops.
Yeah.
They'll have like bimini tops.
I've seen them
Right,
with
yeah.
swim platforms and ladders and slides.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. I've seen them with slides. Oh,
Well,
you know
some
what? I
of them
have seen
have
them.
bathrooms on them, don't they?
Probably.
There's one at Conowingo that has a bathroom on it. It's got like a porta pot on it, and you just pump
I
it
don't know why
out.
people want to swim up in Conowingo or even ski.
Conowingo.
That's
oh, yeah.
sketchy. All the debris floating out there. Imagine skiing through that debris and
Oh,
dropping
yeah,
balls and
skiing.
shit.
No, swimming's one
Swimming.
thing. Swimming's one thing.
too.
But swimming's
Yeah.
one thing, but skiing, you know, there's way too many
There's so
random
much shit
logs
in the
out
bottom
there.
of that place. Ain't no way I'd swim in there.
Yeah, but you're not trying. You're not swimming where you touch the bottom.
I don't like it. I wouldn't swim there.
It's
I watch
fine.
some
People
guys
swim.
jump. I'd watch some guys jump off the cliff on that one side.
I'm way more comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm way more
You can't do
comfortable
that?
swimming in
I've done it.
Conowingo.
I ain't swimming in none of it.
Way more comfortable swimming in Conowingo than
Underneath the
Joppa
eye.
I ain't getting no hysteria or something in my foot.
Kevin,
cut or something. no
Oh,
way.
so yeah, the former owner of Charter
Swimming in
Boats.
there before I'm swimming in Back River, I'll tell you that much. I think it's cleaner in Conowingo than it's cleaner in freaking swimming at Hart Miller Island.
So the
Tony goes ain't blowing smoke. I said I used to be a die-hard two-stroke guy, bro, but screw that oil.
Yeah, until you start freaking
And
until
then
somebody
cold
runs a
season and stuff
four-stroke.
like that. Four
So
strokes.
the owner of Charger, or the former owner of Charger Boats, he actually just passed away recently. He holds the world record for pontoon boat at like 100, I actually think it's like 137 miles an hour.
Yeah, I've seen them blow.
Can you imagine
over
going
too.
130 miles an hour on a pontoon boat?
That's
Would
why
be
it's one
insane.
blow over. They got races. They race everything. I don't care what. You got a motor on it, you race it.
Yeah, it's always been that
Yeah,
way.
it's always like that. Who's got the fastest, baddest
Tractors.
boat, baddest
Tractors.
pontoon, no matter
Cars, boats,
It doesn't matter what it is.
Never
If it
stops.
moves, somebody's racing it.
everybody wants to make
It could
sure
be a
it's the
damn
fastest.
scooter.
what. Yep.
Well, that's going back to like our conversation earlier about performance. It's important to have your boat set up correctly. So even if you don't drive your boat at full throttle, like you know, and you baby it, you know, and that's how you drive. That's fine. It's important to have it set up at full throttle because that's where you'll get the most efficiency out of your motor as well. So yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind when if you're buying a boat or if you've got a boat and you're setting your boat up, is even though you know you may only I only want to go 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, I got a 75 mile an hour boat, but I only want to drive 60 miles an hour because that's all I do.
Yeah.
Well, it's still important to have your boat set up to perform at 75.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Because then your gas, you know, that's your gas mileage and everything is going to be better.
it depends. Like 150 class boats is totally different than a 225, 250 class boat. It's totally different. Because, you know, like you said, 60 mile an hour is like top speed for like a 18-foot 150.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted top speed out of it. But when I got the top speed out of it, yeah, it was good. But
I'm
then
looking
my
at
whole
55 for
shot-
my Ranger at
my
19
whole
with a 150.
my whole shot suffered. And when
Oh,
I had
right.
it loaded with a partner and went up Deep Creek with a 23 pitch prop, I couldn't get on plane.
I
Barely.
understand. So-
barely get on plane because of altitude.
So I worded that incorrectly. You don't want to. It's not. It shouldn't be set up for speed. It needs to be set up for RPMs.
You need
So
to set
you
it
need
up for,
you need a prop that gets you the max RPMs out of your motor. That doesn't over rev or under rev your motor, and that will be the most efficient prop for you.
Yeah.
And that could be a 4-bleed, or it
And
could be a depending on
How
what you
accurate? How
give
accurate
and
are
take.
the props that actually come on a lot of these boats?
They're usually
want. Not very.
they're usually prepped for more torque and get up and not more top speed because you're going to sacrifice something. If you want total top speed, you're going to sacrifice something somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like I said, I'm running my 21 now because I was going to change it because in the cold weather you can run the 23 and get up on plane good and everything like that. The boat will go better. But when it starts getting hot and you put a load in the boat, I got to go down to my 21 so I can pop up because I'm on shallow water. I need to get up fast. I can't like it's trying to get up with a 23 digging mud.
Really?
I want to jump up fast.
So you have an issue with the 23 on
Getting up.
getting up?
You're getting up in the summertime,
In the
especially with a
summertime.
partner.
That's four
And I
stroke.
think
Four stroke versus two stroke.
I think it's a little.
because
I think it's a little tweaked.
I run a
I
24.
think both my props are a little tweaked from hitting shit.
I run a 24 on mine. Most of 90% of the time.
No,
And in the summertime, I do have a little bit of an issue, but never a problem getting up on plane. It's just a little. It takes a second.
My
longer.
boat's so wide and got so much hole in the water. I think that's a problem. With
Well, Kevin makes a good point too. It's impossible to keep a work prop in tune around here.
no.
Because we run
It
through so much
changes
shallow
all the
water.
time, man. Always hitting stuff. First, like I took my boat out. I got my boat out. I wanted to run it out a couple weeks ago when it was a warm day. I got out and ran it up. Dude, it was windy. I come out Joppatown, running next to the train bridge. There's a freaking big ass floater right in front of me. I freaking seen it, and all it did was just let out of it and try trimming up. Boom, 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 right over top of it. I mean, I haven't run the boat 5 minutes. And I said, this is great. This is going to be a good day. I said, it might break something, but I didn't hurt nothing. The log was only probably maybe 8 inches in diameter, and I went right over top of it. But I hit it full, wide open. And there was no avoiding it. It was like 15 foot long, and it was like, I couldn't avoid it. So
That's
I had
what-
to hit it.
That's what happened to me on the flats with Tyler when I had Tyler in my boat. Tyler Hawthorne in my boat.
Sometimes
for
there's
that
no
ABA.
avoiding it, man.
You know, the water was a little rough,
Yeah.
and it was in one of the troughs.
can't see it.
and we can't. You know, we popped up, and it was like right in front
I'm
of
just glad it
it.
wasn't.
And I swerved, and there was about 10 foot more of it underneath the water.
Yeah.
You know, so there was
Yeah.
about 5 feet of it floating, and about another 10 feet.
And when I
below.
hit it, I knew I was probably good because it looked like an old log and it wasn't, a fresh, washed out tree or something. It wasn't over like 12 inches. It was 12 inches diameter. I tore my boat up.
yeah, Phil, that actually.
I've read multiple stories of stuff like that happening.
Greg actually-
it's a pretty freak thing to happen, but it does absolutely happen.
Greg probably knows a guy that happened to. You remember when that happened? All in the Upper Bay?
Walt and the two old guys.
Yeah.
The one guy eventually died 3 years later from his injuries from that.
Yeah.
They were old guys running down the.
Happened in Happy
channel.
Grace. No, it was.
Or-
They
or
ran behind
from-
the island.
Oh,
They
this
run
is,
across the flat. They were running across the flat behind the island at Tidings.
Well, I don't know. It was somewhere around there, but they
Yeah.
hit a big floater and the boater broke off and landed on top of him.
Yeah.
Cut the one guy's ejected
Cut
one
his
guy out of
leg
the boat,
off.
cut his leg almost off, and he eventually died 3 years later because they were older guys. They were like late 60s.
Who was it?
Walt, his name, one of them was Walt.
I remember what? Yeah, I remember
Okay.
first. I
They
don't
were
remember
hammers.
last
They
name.
were hammers on the bay, dude. They won all kinds of tournaments, but they never fished after that. Really, not really. They were done. That's why you get that leash. Like if I had a performance boat, I'd put a leash on it because when you're running 70 miles
So
an hour, you hit
sometimes-
something.
If you look at that, like that last one, and this is probably what Phil was referring to because this is a recent, recent post. There was a guy with a skeeter. That
landed right
you know,
next to him.
landed right behind his head,
Yeah.
on the back
Yeah.
deck, and he
I
was
read that
fine.
one. It's a couple
But if
weeks
you
ago.
look at, a lot of that is knowing how to run your boat too, because that jack plate wouldn't have broke if he didn't have it jacked all the way up. He had his jack plate ran all the way up,
I
and
think,
it's
I think
separate.
some of them break. You hit it. Depends how hard you hit it. It'll break
So
off.
if you think about it, you got your jack plate ran all the way up. The part your motor is connected to is all the way up here.
Yeah.
It's only this much of it
Yeah,
holding in the
yeah.
jack plate. So he hit something with it, and it just folded the top of the jack plate because there wasn't that much. It didn't have that much strength because it was ran up so
Well, like
high.
that, like a lot of the guys are running them leashes with them carbon fiber cables that run the leash on, so it prevents that from the motor flipping up in the
Yeah.
back. And also the new Mercury's, the 4-strokes, they're designed or lower units designed to shear off at 35 mile an hour. I mean,
Really?
you barely hit something 35 mile an hour, shear off for safety.
What we know, me and Frank were talking about the leash and looking at that guy with the skeeter,
Yeah.
and where the leash connects, the leash wouldn't even help them because
Well,
the
it's
jack
like a
because of the jack
two-piece
plate
thing.
coming apart.
It's a two-piece thing. The one I seen, it bolts to like the lower bolts of the jack plate and the lower bolts, the adjustment bolts, and it comes around like this, like a loop, and then another loop goes around the back of the motor. So it's supposed to prevent it. You know, a lot of guys are running that stuff, but
Yeah, I was watching the one that.
you know how people don't worry about safety a lot of times. They really
Right.
don't care about it.
Yeah, I was looking at the Jason Christie having his installed, and it just.
Yeah.
I don't think it would really. You know, where that one broke, I don't think the leash
Well,
would even help.
if you hit something dead on a freaking 15-inch floater or some hardwood, freaking going 75 mile an hour, you're going to get hurt. Something's going to happen. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing good is going to come.
No.
I mean, you know, it's
Nothing.
if you
Good
hit
gonna
something
come
over, if you're doing 60 miles an hour or over, bad things are going to happen. If you hit
Oh
something,
yeah, yeah.
it's going to either it's going to break your boat.
Yeah.
You know, you may not get hurt, but something's done on your boat.
You know.
Your transom, your lower unit, something's
A
definitely
bass
getting-
boat with a 225 plus engine on the back is a high performance machine. It's not for rookies. You know, you need to learn how to drive them. You need to learn how to, and it takes a lot. You just go out there and go balls out and go 75, 80 mile an hour. If your boat's set up properly, it's dangerous. You got to learn how to drive. You got to know the water. You know, you can spin them out going around a turn. If you're jacked too high, you can go around and spin them around a turn.
Oh yeah,
It's like
bow hook.
You got to know all about that.
I mean, you see that video of that guy in that Triton a few years ago, that tournament takeoff,
Yeah.
who bow hooked it and
Yeah.
shot up over the like launched it
yeah,
up over a bank.
yeah.
Somebody in one of the
And now that
pros
was-
just did it. Went off and got
Oh yeah,
on the
Ray
bank.
Hanselman.
Yeah, he went on the bank. They pushed it off though. But like
I remember.
Chris Hoffman had
Were
that.
you
bullet.
standing around when were you back there when I was talking to Brian and he was talking about that?
No, I don't think so.
So I was talking to Brian Schmidt about that.
No, I didn't.
And Brian's like, he's like, oh yeah, oh no, you said somebody cut him off, right?
I don't know.
That's
ended
what you
up
said.
there, like-
That's what you heard though, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, yeah. Brian's like, yeah, he's full of crap. He tried to go around somebody too fast and ended up on the bank, and then told everybody he got cut off so he didn't look like an idiot.
Yeah. But they pushed the boat back off. But like,
But you have to know, even if you know how to drive the boat, mistakes can still happen.
yeah,
You can if you don't see something, if you don't, like the guy in the Triton that shot up over
Yeah.
the bank.
yeah.
That was purely his fault.
Yeah, it was
he
too close to
didn't
the
let
bank,
out of
yeah,
it.
too close
All he
to
had
the
to do was
bank
trim
and hit
down.
wakes. Yeah,
If he trimmed down, he tried to stay in it.
yeah.
If he had just
You
trimmed
lose it.
down, he would have been fine.
Yeah, been wrong place, wrong time. But like Chris had that bullet. I wouldn't even ride with him with
Ooh.
that thing. That was insane. That was a 100-mile-an-hour boat.
And
He was with Ronnie down to Nanacoke or one of the Marshy Hope, and he was running the curvy rivers wide open, as fast as he goes, jacking the plate up. He said Ronnie was with him. He said, man, Ronnie told me because he going down that turn that it lost the
he
bite
lost weight.
3 times right in the middle of the river, and it scared the shit out of him. They about shit, and it's like insane going to 80 mile an hour and the boat went 3 times.
So that boat,
Hell no.
I remember
Because
fishing
you can't have your boat jacked up
and turn.
and turn.
Like, 'cause
gotta
you don't get
jack
any
it,
bite.
lower it and get the bite to go around a turn. If you're jacked up and go to turn, it'll turn.
It's a
but
skid.
You're
Yeah.
skid.
Right, yeah. Hall's gonna
That-
skip.
So that his bullet. I remember we launched a TBF tournament out of Mattawoman, and me and Frank were boat 1, and we were running the Chickamunxin, and we're just past the pier. Yeah, the pier that's on the left.
Yeah.
We're just past the pier, and like my water bottle or something fell, and I looked behind us and I saw them behind us, and I reached down to get whatever I was doing or
Yeah.
tighten my bag and stuff up, and it took 5 seconds.
Yeah.
By the time that I back up and looking forward, all I could see was the spray.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it was just like this, fixed something down here, looked up, and they went from behind us
Yeah.
to I couldn't see their boat. All I could see was their
20
rooster
foot
tail.
bullet with a 300 Mercury racing on the back of it. And if you know bullets, if you
He
look
said he
at
never
them,
got it to 100 though. I don't think. I think he got it to 99.
something like that. But you could go over 100 with
Oh,
a
yeah.
modified engine. But if you ever look at a bullet, they're straight up racing boats. If you look at them like used ones, the hull delaminates on the bottom of them. They start chunking and coming off because they're so thin and light. And it's just flexing like this, and the hull delaminates and they come apart.
I think
But
the
they're
newer ones are a
racing
little
boats.
bit.
They put trolling motors on.
I think the newer ones are a little bit better.
Probably, because back in the day, you used to see the bullets up the flats, man. They come to Allison's bullets. You see them, man. I used to watch them come up the back channel, flying, man, flying. Big rooster tail on
With
the
about-
back of them.
I mean, if this is the water, it looks like their boat is actually above the water.
Yeah, Bailey's.
Like they're riding on their lower unit.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Right on that's called riding a pad. Last 2 inches of the pad.
Oh, they're not even. Some of the guys aren't
Some
even
of
riding
them,
the
yeah,
pad.
that's when you lose control when it ain't on the pad. That's when you lose control quick.
Absolutely.
But I love it. I love fast boats, man. I wish I had one, but I'm not paying the kind
Worst
of
thing-
money to go fast.
Worst thing that ever happened to me was borrowing Kevin's boat, going 70 mile an hour up
It's-
back
it's-
channel.
It's totally different when you got a big motor, big boat. Like mine was had 225 on it, but when it is the power difference is like amazing. It's like I got a 150, but it's nothing. It feels like a compact car to a Corvette.
Oh, my boat's like a go kart compared to like I've driven Frank's boat a couple times when we were
it's
down
totally
in Texas.
different. A
And-
full-blown big boat is different.
Driving Frank's boat is like driving it's like driving an Escalade, where it's got power,
Yeah, power,
but it's
smooth,
big and it's smooth, hard to turn.
yeah,
Where my boat's like a Honda Civic.
yeah,
Where it's
Yeah.
it's quick. It's not fast, but it's quick,
yeah.
and it handles like a go kart.
And like like everybody talking about boats and all this power. Boats don't catch the fish, man. It's boats don't catch the fish. It's like it's nice to have everything set up nice, but you don't need to go 75 mile an hour to kill.
You don't
Fish and
need.
catch
Do you
fish.
need to go 75 mile an hour? No, but
It's
think
nice.
about
the only reason I got rid of my little aluminum jet boat is just for more storage for my rods, so I wouldn't have expensive ass rods.
And
treading
smoother
all
ride.
around. And to go a little farther. If I needed to go a little farther, I could run. It was a struggle going from Joppatown to Middle River in a jet boat. It
Well,
took a
plus
while,
it-
but I did it. I went through some
Plus you
crazy
could-
stuff.
If there's any wind, you can beat to hell.
Yeah, dude, I was like crazy. I looked like one of them crab fishermen one time out there going to the Middle River one time in the fall. It
He's-
was like four
He's on the,
footers
he's
out
on the
there.
Bering Sea
It
out
was
in
four,
that jet
dude,
boat. Like,
it was just like that. It was like water coming over. I had to turn the bilge pump on because it was going in the boat. I was standing up, I was standing up on it like that. It was going, water was coming over the bow, and I made it over there, made it back to Middle River, won the tournament, going through the pond back in the day. It was crazy, man.
First day I was in New York last year. We were in Chameau Bay. That's how they pronounce it. I say Chaumont, but
Yeah.
apparently it's Chameau.
Yeah.
And the wind's blowing like 35 miles an hour, and we finally get on the spot, and we're in the wind, and spot locked, and every waves are just coming over the front of the boat. Every wave. It wasn't just like one here or there, like in a boat wake. Every wave's coming over the boat.
yeah.
It's being in water like that. Like I couldn't imagine being in an aluminum boat and stuff like that.
Dude,
I mean, I was able to run out of there. It wasn't that bad.
And it seems like every single time on this damn upper bay, the wind is always blowing.
Yep.
No matter what time you're out there. It's always blowing. If it says 10,
Every time.
I've
if
had
it
very
says
every
10 mile an
time.
hour, count on 30.
Every time.
Every time. I hate to win. I'd rather have it pour down rain than wind blowing.
While we still got some people online, I want to give a big shout out to some of the guys that take care of us and help us out there on the water. One, we got UMA Lures, Mr. Tyler Hawthorne. He's got some of the best balsa wood crankbaits in the game.
Yes, sir.
Flat sides, square bills, you name it. It's the shiz. It's top notch, no doubt about it. There's no argument. Check him out, UMA Lure Co, umalureco.com. Get you some of those crankbaits. Personally, one of my favorites. I have one tied on right now as our water temps in the local juices in that 50s. It's a really good flat side cranking temperature, and I've been utilizing his lures a lot for those temperatures. So give him a check out.
Pudge square bill.
What's
Can't
that?
Can't beat that Pudge square bill.
No, the little pudge. That pudge is a good lure. And then we have. Is it gonna go away? There we go. bass munitions. Mr. Larry Payne hooks us up and takes care of us with the soft plastics. We get Ned baits. We get stick worms for like Wacky Rig. We have the Holstein worm, one of the top-notch drop shot worms out there. He's got creature baits on the market. He's working on making jigs and all the hooks and everything right now. He's got everything going on. Great plastics. They're soft plastics, very edible. Give him a check out.
Edible.
They are, man. I mean, like,
They're not very edible for us.
they have that soft touch. Like, you know how baits just kind of, they all have their different textures. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they do. They feel.
He's got a soft bait. And
I definitely like this.
in my experience, I think the fish will hold on to a softer bait a little bit longer than some of the harder baits. So check him out. And also, Mr. Warren Taylor with Tailored Lures. Where is the other thing?
That's all we have for them, I think.
No, I have a little pop-up thing for him too, but I'm trying to.
Oh,
There we go. Tailored Lures, Mr. Warren Taylor. Great frogs, small frogs, good profile, castable, very, very stout hooks. Almost they're like saltwater hooks. Trying to go after those snakeheads, some of those big bass. I like using his frogs because they are
very soft.
they're very soft. They have a decent hookup ratio. I like the frog profile.
Yeah. Most of the custom frogs that are on the market do have thinner plastic than the mass manufactured ones.
It's not. Yeah, it's nice. Is you don't run into that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the body's getting in the way of the hook.
Yeah, as long as you got a good hook, that's the main thing
Yeah.
to look for is a good hook.
And he's got stout hooks. So
Oh, yeah.
Stout hooks,
I think
good
it's a- I
colors.
think it's
He's
a
also
good
he has different options too. He's got frogs that have like some of the spinners and stuff on the back. You know,
Kevin's a jerk.
do them UMA crankbaits. Hold, Kevin, we're gonna talk offline, buddy. That's hurtful. But yeah, check out Warren Taylor's cranks, man. They're great. It's good stuff.
Frogs, not cranks.
Frogs. But yeah. What else do we have to? We have anything else we want to cover tonight, boys? Talk about. We're about two.
Yeah, we're about 2 hours 15 in.
Yeah, two. No, we're 2 hours and 37 minutes in.
Well,
I'm telling you, we're not we can't. We're definitely not. I'm telling you that live.
That's when I went live on the OBS software.
When's
I'm telling
when's
you,
it going to get
live.
warm, man? That's what I want to know.
Look over here.
The winter's already been really mild as it is.
I
Like,
thought-
okay, so I saw.
It's not been mild in my opinion, but it's been steady. The same about
Greg,
temperature.
they're shallow in the gunpowder right now.
I know.
I caught 14 pounds last night in 2 hours.
Here's my thing on that. Fish ain't going by water temperature. Basically, they're going by length of daylight.
Oh, yeah.
I disagree with that. I
No.
think water temperature
has
is
something to do
way
with
more
it.
important
It has
than.
something
Now,
to do
length
with
of day
it.
is way more important.
I don't think so.
It has something to do with it. Length of day is the way they go by. Okay, the temperature does go when they go to spawn and everything like that, and moon factor and all that. But activity and everything is the
Yeah, when
length
they
of
start
day.
moving up.
Why do you think your trees are blooding at a certain time every year? The length of day is the length of day means more than anything.
I would agree. I agree with that. I do. I mean, water temperature. I'm not saying water temperature doesn't play any role in that, but
I think warmth and the ability for the fish to move around more and be more active
Yeah, but
in the warmer temperatures
I think what we forget
is. I'm not saying they're moving up in the temperatures right now and they're making a bed. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I am trying to say is that in the warmer temperatures, the fish are moving up and they're looking for real estate a little bit earlier because the temperatures are warmer.
They're looking to feed.
So February.
Yeah.
I had a tournament that I was pre-fishing for. It was the first weekend of March. So I was on the Potomac in the last weekend of February. I looked everywhere in deeper water to try to find fish. You know where I caught fish? In 1.5 feet of water in the back of a creek.
Yeah.
In February in 43-degree water.
Yeah, because tidal fish are
The
different,
sunlight,
too.
the sun rays penetrate.
And that's what I was
It's
going to
gonna-
say.
Exactly.
sun's gonna-
That's what we don't.
Shallow,
you know-
muddy water will warm up 10 times faster than
Just
clear.
because.
I found
Deeper water.
57.6 degree water yesterday in GP.
Yeah.
Well, and it
Oh,
was 55. I found 55 where I was fishing.
Why do you think the
Hey,
boys
Al,
are? Why do you think the
in
boys
the-
are down
in the river.
Blackwater, fishing Blackwater, and
Yeah,
Transquake
they're banging-
and stuff?
banging
You've been down
snakeheads
there.
right now.
The water's shallow and it's black. That's probably 60-some degree water temperatures right now.
Just banging snakeheads right
Yeah,
now.
because it's warm. The water's warm.
Mm-hmm.
The sun hits it and it warms right up. As soon as the sun comes out, it warms right up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, your shallow water gets warm, so you're gonna have fish that move up. But as soon as it's not so much about moving up, is the fish start to move from their wintering holes
Yeah.
into their pre-spawn areas when those length of days start to lengthen.
Well,
More so than what the water temperature does.
I want to
Is-
get down.
is I think what me and
Transquake
Greg are saying.
Transquake
We
in
have
the spring. I
we
wanna
have
go down in
higher
the spring.
water temperatures earlier in the season this year. It's
We
a
did.
fact. We have a very mild winter. We didn't have the snows. We didn't have.
Until they dropped, until it got cold and they dropped again.
The cold fronts, even in the summertime, the cold fronts coming through affect the bass.
Well, it affects.
Yeah, but
When you're
affects
going
the
from
feed.
70 or 80, when you're going from
I
80
feel like when
degree
you're going
water,
from like
it drops
85,
down.
when you're going from 85 to 75 is a lot different than going from 50 to 40.
Well, anything too. I don't even waste my time. Like all of a sudden you get a 75-degree day and it's been in the 40s. That messes them up too, because
We need the key
hardly
to
any
any
other.
weather.
Every time I've had a good day when it's a nice warm day. Oh, you want to get out on a boat? I've never had a good day when it warms up that fast.
It
It's
doesn't-
3-4 days
like-
of steady same water
I'm thinking of it
no
as
matter
it's
whether
like
it's
adjusting.
cold or hot.
or hot.
It's
Yep.
like introducing your fish from Walmart to a fish tank.
They need time to acclimate.
Stun 'em.
You have to acclimate the fish to the temperature, to the situation, because they're shocked.
Yeah.
They don't come to life until they acclimate themselves to the surroundings and to the temperature. And I feel like personally that could have something to do with temperature swings,
And then,
all that stuff.
and in tidal water, it's all shallow anyway. You know how many times you find 8-10 foot of water? Very rarely you find 8-10 foot of water in
Right,
most places.
around here.
You know, around local area.
Yeah,
But
around.
they live in 2 or 3 feet all year long. You don't,
I will say, just referencing what Kevin said, he said length of day and moon phase. Moon phase does not play a part until they come into spawning time. Length of day
Yeah.
is going to move them from their wintering holes into their pre-spawn areas. When they start, that's when they're going to start to move. Then moon phase is going to play a difference when the water warms up
gotta-
and they're ready to go into their
They got
spawn.
a long time before they start thinking about spawning. They got a long
Yeah,
time. to think about
I mean-
spawning.
You don't have a long time. They'll start spawning. They're going to start spawning in April. You got about.
I mean, some
got a
of the
month.
super
Alright,
early
maybe.
ones, but you'll
If it
have
gets
fish
really
all the way
warm.
up into.
You got a month. They were spawning at gunpowder in April last year.
Maybe the first
You have
one,
fish
but most
spawning all
of
the
the
way
big
into
wave
June.
was like a second week in May. It was mid-May when
Yeah.
when I found them on the beds. Found
It was like
tons of-
it was the first week of May.
yeah,
the
first
week
to
before the
second
SQT.
week. Yeah,
The first and second week.
Yep.
But they were up.
Yeah, I'm sure the early spawners were up. They
Yeah,
say
they were-
they say the bigger ones always go first.
Yeah, they were
That's
they were
what they
definitely
say.
spawning in late April.
Yeah.
So I mean, you figure you got well, I'm sorry.
But the water
It's-
was already in the
was
70s.
it March? What are we?
Usually you say 62, 63 degrees. I don't think that's probably works, but it was like 70, 73 degrees when I found most of them spawn. 75 degrees. It was already warmed up real
Well, the
nice.
water warmed up. The water warmed up quick though.
Yeah, I know.
It went from like 55 to 75 in
Yeah.
like a week and a half.
Yeah, that's what it's going to do this year. I guarantee that's what it's going to do. It's cold. Everything's still steady cold, and we're going to get a warm stretch. Bam! It's
We just
going
had
to
a
be up
warm
to
stretch.
65.
Warm
I
stretch
mean,
was this week. Dude, they were on fire
I
last
mean,
night.
really warm, like 75
I
to
called
80
it-
degrees.
I called the hell out of them last night.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't catch any giants, but
Yeah.
I was out for 2 hours and I caught 14 pounds,
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that. But,
all in freaking a foot and a half or less of water.
yeah. I don't know. I haven't had the motivation to get out though. I got to get the bug again. That's why I'm up in the air about everything I want to do this year. I ain't got the bug yet, but couple one I catch, I'll probably got the bug and.
See you,
go full
Jason.
blown.
Kevin, they go to the cold side. They're too good for the hot side.
Ooh. Dude, the cold side's got some big fish in it.
Cold side's got some giants in it.
Cold side's got some giant fish in it, but that's a tough fish. That's a tough fish. You know?
You know, it's not that. It's not that tough if you spend the time. It's like any other water. You know, it's not that tough if you spend the time on it. You know, you can't. For most bodies of water, you can't really expect to go there for a couple of days and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you go there, if you go to a brand new body of water and you figure out how to catch some fish, you're doing a pretty good job for the average person. You know, so if you went down there and you spent some time down there, you could, you could learn it. You know, it's a big lake. There's a lot of stuff there. You know, there's a lot of stuff to roll out.
I don't know, going to new bodies of water is a little intimidating, but you got to pick a spot and like, especially big lakes. Sometimes just pick an arm and pick it apart.
Do your research.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you pull up Navionics, you know, if you and you know what you're looking for, you can find fish on literally. I think it's the wrong Lake Cherokee.
That's Cherokee. No,
Pretty sure that's the wrong Lake Cherokee.
wrong lake.
The wrong Lake
Yeah.
Cherokee?
That's in Texas.
It's yeah.
You want the one in Tennessee?
It's two lakes. You got Douglas and Cherokee. They're almost twins of one another. They sit on top. The Cherokee sits on top of Douglas, and they're like almost. They look similar.
So, what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
you know, if you know what you're looking at on a map, say Navionics, you can find fish on any lake. Are they going to be the tournament winning fish? You never know. You know, that's up for discussion. But if you know what you're looking at, you know what time of year it is, you know at what point what pattern those fish are in. Are they in, pre-spawn or winter or summertime patterns? If you know that and you know what you're looking for on a map, you can locate fish on any body of water in 15
So
minutes.
now that I figured out the screen monitoring thing, so now that I figured this out, where was Poche?
Up there.
Like way.
Yeah, zoom in. Put it in satellite view. Down layers down here. All right. Now go up. Keep going up.
It took them an hour and 45 minutes to get there.
Keep going up.
Oh, he's even farther.
He was up here somewhere, up in this area, I think.
It's probably before the city or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't that far. Keep going that way. I don't think it was before that. Maybe I went too far.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Scroll
be
back
too
out.
far.
I'm trying to think of where's the dam at that he was.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. No,
Yeah,
it's
so you gotta go down.
you'll
It's
be
probably
able to
the
see
river.
it from way
It's
out.
by the river. Keep going down.
There it is.
Right there.
He was right there.
Right here.
Yeah. So if you go down,
That's exactly where he was at.
if you go not too far, right there, right
Yeah.
where your cursor is. Zoom in.
Yeah, go right here.
See,
Go
that's
up.
those are the rocks that he had to go
Yeah.
through.
You probably
Okay.
went,
Zoom into
He
that.
probably went through that chute right
He
over
went.
here.
Yeah, he went through this chute over here.
Right here. Right
So
there.
that's where he went through.
Went through because he's a mess with Google Earth, dude. He's got an iPad on his boat now,
Right.
where you can use Google Earth. But he went.
But yeah,
through
that's
this
what he had
chute.
to get through to get to that.
He went through the chute and went through here, and most of his fish when I was watching it.
He was getting
Zoom
them
out some.
from all over the place in there.
He was all the way up when I was watching it. Was like he was in like where the water was
Yeah,
churning.
right there.
Right there.
He caught a lot of his fish like right through here, like through here.
Makes sense.
And-
But he
and
caught
he
it-
was
that
was
big
sitting-
that big smallmouth he caught
Yeah.
over on the over
he was
there.
going back
yeah.
and forth, but he caught a lot of them. He caught the largemouth over here, but he was in front of these boulders right here, this dark spot.
Uh-huh.
Because he kept hitting them.
Yeah, he kept hitting them and shit. But
Every
he was
time he'd
sitting
catch a
there-
He
fish,
kept hitting them.
every time he'd catch a fish, it would drift him back into him.
Dude,
He'd
it
go,
was a
bonk.
mess. It was a mess, dude. He got penalties and shit like that when he was dropping the fish in the boat. The one he was hitting a rock, he just said, "Screw it, I'll take the penalty," and flipped it in the boat. And on the bottom, it was flopping all over the place. But yeah, he was fishing that spillway. And
That's
that-
sketchy lipping fish with freaking treble hooks on their mouth. I don't like doing
And
I
that.
don't like doing that either.
when you're fishing the spillway,
I'll
like that,
I
that's-
usually belly land.
you got to see them key areas where they're in the current, like right on these corners right here. And there's
Dude,
like
those are the
little
ambush
troughs.
Well, what
points.
it
I
is-
mean,
yeah.
you
Look-
got
look
your
how-
eddy over to the left.
Look how this is right here. I guarantee they're sitting in that trough right here.
So
too.
what you don't realize, all through there, all in front of that,
Yeah,
all of
it's
the
a hole.
rocks underneath the water that you can't see
Yeah.
are all current breaks. It's the same
Yeah,
way. It's just
yeah.
like fishing
Yeah,
Conowingo,
yeah,
right? Anywhere you have current, they're all going to set up the same
And
way.
there's a hole right under here. It's just dug out from the
Yeah, from the water
Yeah,
coming
from
over.
current
And
washing it
I
out.
heard like Conowingo, the falls up Conowingo all
Yeah.
up top by the bridge. That falls they got there, guy told me that they would sit underneath, because that's like a 10-foot drop where the falls is. They would sit underneath that current. It would be out of the current, like right there, because the water would be coming over, but there'd be a backwash and there'd be no current. And so the big smallmouth would sit up behind them, behind the current. And when shit fall down in there, they would come out and grab it. He was throwing like 1 ounce jigs in there, and it would go under that current. And that's how he was catching. He caught. You probably know the guy. I forgot what his name was. I'm bad with names. When I
Was that the
try
guy
to
they call like 24 pounds?
caught like 20-some pounds.
The guy that beat Mike Lutz? The day Mike Lutz had like 22.
I don't know, but he was throwing. Because I posted on there, and it goes, man, I was up here and throwing. I couldn't catch nothing. I caught one little small one. He goes, man, I was up there yesterday, and I caught like 20-some pounds, a big smallmouth. He goes, heavy ass jig right up under. Throw it at the base, right at the falls where the water comes. So they drop down and they grab it, not in the current, but try to get it past there and go down below when it sweeps out.
So like actually under the falls.
Under the
So you want to
falls,
throw
yeah.
it through the water.
Through the water, heavy. Said something heavy, it's like 1 ounce jig. You
So that it punches.
punch through it.
You're punching
and
through the water.
Go under the
instead
shelf.
Instead of hitting the current and get swept off, and it's only probably if you throw it in the current, it's going to only go down a foot and get swept away.
Right.
He was throwing it in there and it was dropping down and going like 5-6 feet down and then getting washed out, and they were sitting underneath of it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They ain't going to be sitting in that current. They're going to be watching for stuff being washed down and looking up and coming.
Well,
and
yeah,
grab
being
it.
able to read the water is so important.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize too that you have a, if you physics,
Yeah.
equal and either, if you hit something, it's going to give it equal and opposite effect. Most of your bigger fish in a river system are going to be on the front side of a rock. They're not going to be behind the rock where the obvious eddy is. They're sitting in front of the rock because the water hits the rock and bounces off of it, right?
Right.
So it creates it creates a pushback on the front of it.
Yeah.
Well, where are the bigger fish going to sit? They're not going to sit back here where smaller fish can get to the food first.
Yeah.
They're going to get that prime position right there in the front. So when that bait gets
They're gonna
flush down the river.
They're going to find a spot, even in the roughest, most current, to where they can sit there and not even move. They can just sit there and just float. almost.
I've seen steelhead, just to show you how little of something makes an eddy. I've seen steelhead sitting perfectly still, not having to swim to hold still, in rushing creek
Yep.
water,
Yep.
sitting behind a rock this big, the size of a baseball. And we're not talking small steelhead.
Yeah.
We're talking 6-7 pound fish that are sitting behind a rock the size of a baseball. And they're just sitting there, and tail's not moving or anything. They're just, they're perfectly still. Water's flowing right over
Main
top
thing
of
is,
them. They can sit perfectly still.
We really can't understand how they actually live. You know what I'm saying? In millions of years of evolution, they know how to live in their environment.
Yeah.
They know what to do in their environment. Storms, everything. Why when we had a storm when the gunpowder went up 15 feet,
Record.
we went up 15 feet. Why didn't all the fish just end
Get
up in the
flushed out.
marsh dead?
Why did
weren't.
they get why didn't they get flushed down?
Yeah,
you know.
they didn't go nowhere. I was fishing a week after that. The fishing was just
They're
as
fine.
good. It was fine.
They didn't
When
go
it
anywhere.
went up to the top of the train bridge, I heard the water was to the top of the train bridge. You couldn't get a boat on the train bridge as high.
They. So.
Where?
When he had this Sandy, was Sandy, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It got.
Yeah.
It was what 5 years ago it was when the Elite Series was here. It was
Oh,
so
yeah.
hot.
I know. It was before that. I mean, the Sandy, when that storm push come up the bay, when the hurricane was at the mouth of the bay and it pushed all the water in.
Oh,
it
that was,
flooded
you're talking
Foley's-
about like 2003.
Yeah, Foley's quarters flooded, all flooded, and they said the water, you couldn't get a boat under the train bridge. That's how
Hey Tom,
high
what's
the
going
water.
on? Well, when the Elites were here, it got that high when the Elites were here.
It
What's
wasn't
up,
that
Tom
high.
A?
It was high, but it wasn't.
It was high enough that Tommy Biffle ran his fiberglass boat to the dam.
Yeah, I believe it. Poche told me he had a full-size Triton boat back in the DNR pond that's on the other side of the little
Oh yeah,
dump.
you were telling me
He
that.
said he went in there. He said he got in there with a full-size boat. That's how the water was. I said, no, you didn't. I said, bro, I swear to God I was in there. I was in there with that boat.
You know what pond he's talking about, Chad?
Where the state record crappie and state record white birds come from. You were talking about that the other week. They didn't come from Dundee, bro. I got 3 people told me they
Dundee?
came out of that pond.
No shit.
There's giants in there. He goes, there's 10. I know there's 10-pounders in there.
So, you pull up Google Maps again.
I sure can.
So there's another. So in our Joppatown area.
If
pull up Joppatown.
DNR makes some money, put it on there. Everybody go walk back in there and get tickets.
There you go, Joppatown. So, you're good.
It's just zoom in. Zoom in.
So zoom in.
There's the pond.
There's the pond.
It's
Go
the
up.
forbidden zone.
Go up.
I'll
Go
show
north. Go north.
Greg is taking the helm.
That pond right there.
Yep, this one right here.
Oh,
So there's
listen,
the quarry
we
over
don't,
there.
we're not going to talk about that.
Well, you can't get
You
into
can't get
it.
in
so.
it. You go fishing. You start fishing this. DNR patrols this all through here. You actually see the roads
Since
that go
when?
through it.
Well,
Everybody I know has got tickets.
well,
in
Frank got a trespassing ticket
Yeah.
back there.
Really?
Yeah.
But
Because
see,
it's owned by some gas station
He
company or
went-
something.
No, that's State Park. It's Gunpowder State Park.
he
Why?
told me.
Why on earth is it illegal to fish in there?
He told
They
me.
say for safety reasons.
Yeah, he told me he went through here. Which I've been on here.
Yeah.
It's full of good stuff.
That's
in there.
easy to get through.
Go in here.
I don't think it's that great.
It's big crappie in there. You know that, right? Big crappies.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I don't crap
As,
it.
as
I ain't
far
been
as
in-
the
I
largemouth
ain't been
go,
in there since I got rid of my
That-
jet boat.
what we're looking at right now, and I'm glad we're not sharing the screen because I don't. As I'm saying, I don't really like fishing it that much, but I don't want everybody to know about it either.
Well, you can't. It's pretty hard to get to.
Here.
Yeah,
It's good for a 3-pounder.
Yeah.
Time. Now he told me he went through here and he got his boat. When he was here, he walked in his hip waders. He said chest waders went all through here and went through these little canals through here and got in that pond. Went through here and got in that pond.
I have
With a
thought.
big bass boat. With
I'm
a
telling you
full-size
now,
bass boat.
I
Well, at that
talked
point,
to I
all of
talked
this-
to Rob about taking his boat and winching it through
You
the
can't.
woods.
It's too much.
and
It's too
putting it in
far.
there.
It's too far. I've got out.
It definitely looks farther than what you
I've
think
got
it is.
out. I've got out and walked through here.
Over to here.
I've walked halfway through here, and it took me like a little while to get through that thick shit and get through here because I was seeing how far it was, and I got out and walked all the way in there, and it's
You see
it's
this?
land, it's dry land.
There's all like stumps and everything
Oh,
right
yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's 10-pounders in there, I guarantee it.
Like we got to get in there somehow.
You want to go? We'll sneak in. I don't care. I'll pull the boat in there. We'll walk through the woods and go to the other side.
That's what I like. We need to
Wait
find
till
like a
they're
little.
almost ready to spawn. Like
We need to
good
get
day,
like a
almost
little
ready to spawn
10-foot
and
John boat that we can like take back there and put a
go.
trolling
I
motor
know.
on.
So-
I'm camouflaged and I'm running. I ain't getting no tickets.
Yeah,
though.
I'm down.
So just make sure you have like an aerated cooler or something. So when you catch a bunch of big ones, you can
Yeah.
put them back in the water and we can actually fish.
This little strip here. That's got some good water that goes all the way through here, and it's like 3 or 4 feet deep. But I've never caught
So,
something really good.
the issue
on this
is
side,
the
right here,
mud,
right here,
the
and here.
mud that comes down from that area.
No, this is always clean most of the time. Clean.
I've never been back there when it's clean.
I've
It
been
has
back here when it's
always been
clean.
chocolate milk every time I
Clean.
go back.
Usually
back
it's
here
clean
was
because the inlet's been blocked off. So
The
it doesn't
other
get a lot
side
of-
is always clean. That side to me has always been dirty.
What do you mean? Like in that little section there?
The little section there was always dirty, and the bigger section there was always
But
cleaner.
Here is why the quarry isn't no good no more. That's where it broke through and come through right through here.
Yeah.
This used to be 12 feet deep right here. Now it's 6 inches deep. All this. And this used to be all open water back here. You can't even get to it now. The quarry's only this big now. That's all it is right here, right through here.
Yeah.
And this is all
Zoom in.
in
Zoom
the
in.
summer.
Greg?
In the summertime, when it's real hot and nothing's biting, if you can get up this river and go through here and fishies lay down through here, that's like, see how dark it is? That's like 6-7 feet deep.
Right.
You can catch a decent bag if you ain't got nothing going on. You can catch like maybe a 12-pound bag right
That's
through here.
hard to get into. I even
I
have a
did it
hard time
before.
getting in there with my John boat.
Can you zoom into that corner over there?
What, this corner here? Yeah, this used to be all open water back here.
Right.
This used to be a little strip of woods.
I don't
right
even think
here,
you can't even
and
get
would
in there anymore.
You get all the way behind.
Dying. Where's the? Can you go back to that?
It's nothing like it used to be. Nothing.
Where's the spot where all the guys crappy fish? Is that
on the backside?
That's over here.
Right here.
is that right
I
there?
always
Yep.
fish like right here.
The backside.
Was that right
power lines.
there? Over that like beachy looking area right there.
Yeah, it's
That's
like-
right there.
Then you got your walk wall.
Where
the
were you
drop
telling
off
me about
comes
that?
Right through here.
Where were you telling me that was like deeper?
So
Don't be afraid of Greg, and we're not sharing the screen.
I know that place like
off the air right here.
There might be a little
is-
hole left. There might be a little bit left, but
There's
you can't
like
get
a
to it.
10-foot deep hole like
Yeah,
right here,
it's
and
probably
right now
remnants of it.
this stream is coming out right here, and it is pushing. There's actually a big cut that's coming out right here right now,
Yeah, we need another hurricane to blow it out. Then it'll change it
and
up.
there's laydowns laying right here that I've pulled fish off before.
That used
but
to be all wood. It used to
Yeah.
be all deep there.
yeah, well,
I remember when-
it's not in certain specific areas.
Even
it
when
is.
I fished
But
it,
like
if
over
you-
to here, like this is still 6 feet right here, 4 to 6 feet depending on what tide it is coming across here. It's mud bottom. There's no structure on the bottom of it. It's all mud bottom. It's not holding fish right here. But when you get over here to this area,
So even when I started fishing the quarry 10 or 12 years ago, if you go down, what Greg was talking about, so that bank right there where it says Resurrection,
Yeah, right there. That used to be money.
That bank right there?
SQT was one right there.
so
On
right
this
where it says,
bank?
no, the other side.
The other side.
Go to the other side.
right
That-
here.
I'll show you.
So that used to
Okay.
be, so that bank, when I started fishing it like 12 years ago, was like 14 feet deep.
Yep. SQT was
And you
one
can't get
there.
a boat over there now.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
You can't even get to it. This used to cut right through this.
you
little
almost have
pond.
to hug the trees on the right side to
Yeah.
even
This used
get
to be-
into there
Yep.
now.
This in here used to be 5 or 6 feet deep, and all this back edge, I used to catch them all through here, and there used to be right here deep, and it was a hump that would come up to the top almost, and you would pitch on both sides of the corners and everything. I caught some massive fish off that right.
Yeah, there
right
was-
through there.
Yeah, that's gone.
I remember 10 to
I mean, that's
12.
long gone.
I remember 10 to 12 years ago, there was 12 to 14 feet of water on that bank.
This lately.
I mean, it was deep.
Oh yeah, deep, and that's before it broke through. But like I've caught last year, I caught some good ones like along here.
Oh, yeah,
You
that's
go
all.
across the drop, and a 4-pound hole. That's what they call this 4-pound hole back here.
That's not even the good spots.
I won some tournaments back in.
I mean,
here.
that shit back in there. There's so many hang-ups back in there.
everybody fishes this here, this strip. I don't like fishing that. I know people catch them off of there, but
Yeah, I don't.
yeah, right there. That's the I've caught a giant off of there.
I've caught a lot of giants off there.
I know. That's the hump that comes up. There's a tree.
No, that's not.
Oh,
No
well,
way.
Dude, really? Secrets back there. Get the hell out.
No.
fishes that.
So
You fish for bass.
Greg,
you know
hold on.
what's there.
you would be surprised how many people that I've talked to that only started fishing, bass fishing around here in the last 4 or 5 years that have no idea that that's there.
Oh yeah.
Because they just go around the bank.
Yeah.
And, so you see the same depth of water all the way around the bank. You don't
I
see
know.
any kind of changes.
Before I found a pond, they used to call me the quarry master back in the day.
Just swap
Because
from
I ran
one,
there.
from one
I used-
pond
I
body
used
water to
fish
the
it
other body
religiously.
water.
Like
yeah.
I fished a pond religiously. I used to fish that.
I mean, dude, if the
religiously.
fish are there and they're eating there, why are you gonna go anywhere else? Like I have people that are like, "What do you do? You fish the pond all the time." I'm like, it's 5 minutes from my house and they eat. I'm like, why am I gonna go anywhere else when I have 2 hours to fish after
Yeah.
work? I'm not gonna drive all the way to Havity Grace.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
but-
saying? Like
But there's so many other places to fish in the gunpowder.
so
Yeah.
many other. I mean,
So
there
many.
is.
I'm not knocking you for going to the gunpowder. I'm just knocking you for fishing one spot in the gunpowder all the time.
I have fished. I have
But you've done better. You've done
recently. I have fished way more areas in the gunpowder and
Google
gotten
Earth
confidence, but. I go to the pond. I know how to catch fish in the forbidden zone.
better. Oh,
you know what I
great.
mean? Like,
Zoom back in. Zoom back in. Right. Scroll down. I don't want to say anything. Go down. Down
This
No,
way.
no. Move your cursor down. Yeah. You know that area there that we fish all the time? If you go down toward the bottom of the screen, scroll over.
oh,
to
we're
your
still
right.
going. We're still going.
Yep, go over to your right. Yeah, there. That's that section from there down that we fish, that me and you fish quite a bit.
Yeah, number 10.
Is loaded right now.
Oh, is it in the
Yeah.
river? In the river itself?
I try to keep things quiet.
The
Greg.
river's long, man. The river's long. You ain't
Try
know
to
what
keep
you're
things
talking about.
quiet.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, from right about here up through there.
And somebody told me years ago the big stripers come up in there and go by the train bridge up all the way up top. Somebody told me that. Where's Dundee at? Oh, there's
You're in a bird.
it's Bird.
You're on the other. You gotta go on the other
You ever
side.
been back here?
I have. There's
All
it.
in the back?
Freaking no.
It's deep back here. It's like 10 foot deep.
Really.
So this was yesterday. There's 5 bass under that tree,
Really. Holy shit. Nice
and
and clear.
they were all 3-pounders.
Really?
Yeah.
Tony asked in the comments the other day, he's like, are they on the wood? 'Cause I was like, Tony, if you scroll up 5 comments, Paul literally posted a picture of a log with 5 bass on it.
Here we go. What about
They weren't all. To be fair, they weren't on the wood until I spooked them.
what about going back in here?
Where you at?
Saltpeter Creek.
Easy. Me and Tony have a
Where's?
Right here.
Oh, by the power plant. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It threw me off because the power plant is not there anymore in the picture.
I like
cables.
I like launching at
Cables are
Tony's
down.
joint at saltpeter.
You can go straight through now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Have you seen
I'm telling
Tony's
you.
little shore house at the Saltpeter Creek?
No.
I'm
I
hoping,
like it.
I'm hoping Scott's actually talking to the developer and stuff
Yeah.
to get this wall taken out
Yeah.
so we can access through here. Go straight through. Dude, I knew that used to be a money spot back when
Keith
the power
Pochet
plant
would
days.
jump it.
But you can't get through.
Shit, I'd jump it.
You can't get through the steel walls there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fish go through because there's holes on the bottom of it. But like underneath here, all this riprap, that's I'm gonna try that in the spring, man. I guarantee
Gotta
they're
be
there
good.
good down there.
Now that we can fish it.
Yeah, I don't see nobody's gonna call on you or anything. The signs are one sign's still there, but it's all bent up.
Check the comments
is
real
it-
quick.
Huh?
You know,
Check
is
the
it-
comments on the Facebook tab.
click the Facebook tab.
Nothing's changed. I was gonna say, I'm like, there's probably a couple people that are probably like, damn, I really wish they were screen
Yeah.
sharing right now, talking
Yeah.
about what juice they were talking
Yeah.
about.
That's
no
right.
idea.
Mark knew exactly what we were
Oh,
talking
I'm sure
about.
you got mine.
Dude, right up through here, past here, under the bridge, all through here. Every time I've been here, the wind's blowing right through there, like 20 mile an hour. It's like it's ridiculous. But to get on a calm day and go up there with a crankbait and stuff,
Yeah, it's
my buddy I work with, Dave Wilder, talking about there, and he got his personal best like 2-3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was spring, early spring, he said. But I guarantee that guarantee it's good bite there. Because where all these fish winter from, back here.
They got a winner somewhere.
They winter right here, guarantee it.
Is it deep water
10
in there?
feet. Yeah,
Is
it's
it 10
deeper.
foot of water?
It's like
Oh, yeah.
7, 8 feet deep.
Guess where I'm going Sunday?
I try it, dude. There's so much stuff I've looked at that I'm trying this year.
We'll see how the wind's blowing.
There's so much
It's supposed to
stuff.
blow pretty hard,
Wait,
so I might not
I
get
ain't
down
even talked about the other side yet.
Oh.
There's so much stuff
Oh, you tuned me on into some stuff over there.
I'm spending more time over there, man. I'm telling
It
you.
was good. I mean, I hit it late for my club tournament. I hit that spot late, and I mean, we still caught some good ones. There's some good ones out there.
The grass is still good over there. I guarantee it.
Oh, there was so much
never
milf.
died.
There was so much milfoil over there. Gosh, it was insane.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And they'll be in that good grass too.
Oh wow, we've been going for almost 3 hours.
Yep. But anyways, guys, we are going to wrap this up for tonight, and we're going to get back to you.
River Rat's
Maybe
open
on-
tomorrow morning. Sign up starts at 5:30. Tidings.
When are we going to launch Tackle Talk Tuesdays?
Let's go April. We'll start out in April.
We could start out in April. So starting in April, we're going to launch Tackle Talk Tuesdays again, and we're going to get back into the nitty gritty on the crankbaits, the jerk baits, the jigs,
Rods.
the whopper ploppers, whatever y'all want to talk about. Actually, that's one of the things that I do want to discuss. I want to hear what you guys want to hear about, to be honest. So,
Yeah. Rods, reels,
Yeah.
whatever you want to talk about is any
rods, reels, line,
You want to talk about a line? You want to talk about rods, reels? You want to talk about
knots.
crankbaits? You want to talk about knots is a good one.
Hooks.
We can
Hooks
do
is a big one. I think hooks would be a great topic because the hooks is deep.
So I learned something.
There's a lot that goes into picking the right hook for the right situation. Summertime, wintertime, wide gap. Yeah.
I learned something from Derek Hundall. Hundall. I can't pronounce. I don't know. Awesome dude. Great talking to him. Watched his seminar in Susquehanna Fishing Tackle the other week, and really something so makes you feel dumb when you don't think about it, but something so simple about hooks to make it easy about how they function and how to select the right type of hook. So we can definitely talk about that.
Definitely.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll have some demonstrations. I'm gonna
So.
try not to put a hook in Chad's hand.
Easy about that. I'm special. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next round. Peace out. Thanks for joining us. Woo.
I like this microphone setup.
You like it?
Yeah. There's not as much clutter in the screen.
Yeah, it looks better.
Now I want to go back and just rewatch that and just hear. I want to hear it.
Go for it. It takes a. Let's have a listen. That sounds.
I didn't actually have a chance to tune in and see that view, but I do remember we had
That
sounds fantastic. Group chat on the phones that we talk
Yeah, sounds good.
during the
Well,
day,
sounds
and
good
everybody
when I
was
watch.
did you guys
Yeah,
just see
hit
that?
somebody
And I was
else talking just in case.
"Oh."
Just
No.
for you say here what the different microphones sound like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the dam, to the Conowingo Dam.
Downstream. Okay.
Yeah. Until you
I
get
thought.
up to
Wait, at first I
Conowingo.
thought you were talking about.
No.
Oh,
I've been all the way up to the top.
I was going to say we've been up there in our glass.
With a jet boat, that's easy up there. You know, I can run all over that place.
The fiberglass boats go up there if they know how to do it. I will say
You can run
one
up
thing
to
that
the
we
dam
can
with
do
water.
with these
Unless you find
mics
it difficult.
is.
Whoa.
I'll tell you who's
We
got
can
a
just-
set of nuts. When
I
it
know we
comes
don't
up
like 'em to be right in
running
our
up there
face,
in a
but
fiberglass boat. talking
Tony.
more directly
Tony will
like
run up
this
there
makes
wide
like
on a fiberglass boat.
your voice
yeah.
pickup is just so much
For
more
sure.
crisp.
There's a lot of
You don't want it to
people
be
that
like
don't
right
have
here
to
in
do
your
that, but
face,
they'll do that.
but like
But if you're
down
over
here,
here-
tilted up and just like just talking into it like this, just it eliminates all background stuff and just makes it crisp
And
audio.
He had his glass boat in that low water above.
It's a little soft.
Yeah, I've been
That's pretty nuts. Because the water was really
So-
low. The river was really low.
When I was talking to
And
Wesley Gore,
he was telling
at
me
the
how
Open,
he had
practicing
to
for
get
the
into
Open.
like he would find the
he was
chute,
fishing the
he'd
trolling
trolling motor around till he
had
found the chute,
Yeah.
yank his trolling motor up real quick, trim the motor up and just gun it through all the way to the fucking train bridge.
Suppose he told me
And
he was
people,
up at the
there were
range,
guys in jet boats
practicing up around
asking him
there.
if he was
He's up there.
okay. He was like, "Yeah, I'm good. Why?" I'm surprised they just couldn't believe he was
He
up
said he
there.
didn't find nothing up there. So he couldn't find anything.
Well, it's just so shallow.
He said,
Like
you
the
know,
only
he said,
time
I
I've
went
got
on the
up
Bush
there was
River. He
really
said,
hot on the summer.
So he
he
said-
caught